Okay. Relax, relax, relax. See, it's late, and I told you I do all my shows live, so I do them live, unedited, and uncut. And I know there's going to be a lot of controversy. So right now, Kell Brook has defeated Shawn Porter for the IBF 147-pound title about an hour and 15 minutes ago. So if you don't know, T Street Controversy, that's what I go by. I call the show T Street Controversy Live because I'm T Street. I talk about the controversial issues in boxing, live and uncut. So if you don't know, 33-0, 33 have tried, no, actually 32 have tried, 32 have failed. Kell Brook is the new 147-pound IBF champion, and he beat someone that fans say Amir Khan would not have fought, or Amir Khan would have got knocked out fighting. Now that's going to be the question. And also, what I've realized is on social media, before I got on here, everybody was talking about how, hold on guys, hang in there, how Shawn Porter was doing too much holding, you know, and no, not Shawn Porter, Kell Brook was doing too much holding. So I'm thinking, well, isn't that what you're supposed to do with a fighter like this? Isn't it like, if you're fighting Shawn Porter, right, with what he did to Paulie Malignaggi? Now I want you to go to my somebody's on my, I want you to go to my older videos. All you gotta do is type in Porter versus Brook, Porter vs Brook predictions, and you're going to see about 5 or 6 videos from look for the channel that says Enter the Arenas. But basically, what I was saying was, the only way Kell Brook was going to win is if his alias, the guy he's supposed to be, the guy that he's shown he was tonight, Special K, shows up. So his name is Kell, the Special One, or Special K Brook. Now, if you don't know, Special K is a cereal. I first experienced this high in fiber breakfast cereal about maybe 15 plus years ago, and I thought to myself, like, oh, that's probably like a cinnamon type Frosted Flakes or something. But really, what do you find? You find like a very fiberish cornflake. But the thing is, it's not just cornflakes, it's special. So Kell Brook, now listen to my analogy. Kell Brook, he's got the fundamentals, he's got the hand speed. Now you saw that he's got the hand speed, he's got the punch accuracy because he was the most accurate puncher in the fight. He's got the foot movement, and he's shown us something that will carry him a long way in this point in his career, is that he can hang in there on the inside with a rugged, tough inside fighter in Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter was doing all that, you know, football, Mike Tyson, and punching all in the back of the head and all that. It wasn't, listen, it meant nothing. It didn't work. And if you look at who was in control of the fight, for majority of the fight, who looked like they were under stress? Shawn Porter. You got his father lying to him in the corner, and we're going to talk about those steroid allegations. We got to talk about it. Once again, I'm a guy, former bartender. I decided, you know, about 3 years ago, that I said, you know what, I don't want to work for the man anymore. I'm going to do something different. And I said, I'm going to just start covering boxing. I said, I'm going to just watch boxing all day, every day. I said, I'm going to talk to boxers. I said, I'm going to be like the Al Heyman, the guy that people only see on a camera that's just like, you know, talking about boxing. I don't know. That was my own little thing. But now, at this point in time, now it's so much information that I have, and there's so much research that has to be done in order to do what I do. Like, this is not just me, just some guy coming up here doing these videos. Yes, I do these videos live and uncut, and the reason why I'm able to do these videos live and uncut is because I make it so easy to the point where the other stuff, like basically the videos are the easy part. The other stuff is, you know, off the camera is the hardest part about doing this. But what I'm saying is, I've been watching Kell Brook for some time. I've seen both Carson Jones fights. I covered both of them on the other channel, Into the Arena. I covered the Alvaro Robles fight. I covered the Voislov and Chingo fight. And what I'm saying is, just like you're seeing this video right here live and the one I did before that, what I'm saying is, I have watched probably the last 7 straight Kell Brook fights live immediately after it went off. So I'm watching a guy, analyzing this guy as he's coming up, and seeing all, you know, his flaws, his strengths, and then I see a guy like Shawn Porter, and I think, well, wait a minute. You had 14 knockouts up until Paulie Malignaggi, so now people are saying you're Mike Tyson. It's not like you would. It's not like he was 24-0-1 with 21 knockouts. You know, so when people say, when us boxing fans, you know, when it comes to fighters getting knocked out, it's very difficult to predict a fighter getting knocked out who has not been knocked out before. Kell Brooks had problems before, but he's adjusted. But see, the thing is, people say the problems he had was with lower end fighters. The problems he had was against guys who had over 100 losses, 189 losses. But once again, going back to the very beginning of what I said, it all depends on if that great prospect, you know, that's showing us that he had that fundamental foundation, you know, high in fiber. If he showed up, he could win. Now, I said in videos it was a 50-50 fight. It was a hard fight to pick, but I heard more than 70-80% of the times fans say Kell Brook is going to get knocked out in 4. Kell Brook is going to get knocked out before 5. I said if Kell Brook makes it past 5, the onslaught, Shawn Porter, watch his previous fights, most notably 2 with Julio Diaz, you see that he starts to slow down a bit. You know, and then if you're going through a guy, you run through Paulie Malignaggi, how do we know, you know, and then later on in the Devin Alexander fight, you know, he slowed down just a tad bit. So how do we know that moving on in the future, if you go up against a good fighter that you can't knock out, that's not going to be afraid of you, like I think Amir Khan would be, you know, but that's a whole different thing. You know, how do you adjust to something like that? So what I'm going to do is, once again, I say I'm T Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe. I cover every single major fight live. So when you see, this is what I'm transitioning to. Like usually, like after fight, I do the video, you know, but now I'm transitioning to, after every fight, I'm going to just be up here right live. So basically, as soon as the fight goes off, I'm going to, you know, but in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to hear the post-fight interview with Jim Gray and Kell Brook. So we can, you know, start off from right there. And then during that, you know, I'm going to start inviting people in and show people how to come in so they can join and, you know, that type of situation. So let me get the remote. You know, we're going to listen to the post-fight interview. Just hang in there. T Street Controversy Live.
He's precious. Oh my goodness, he's just adorable. He looks just like my son.
Hang in there, guys. Hang in there. There we go. Saved.
They're little for such a short amount of time. Oh.
You know, sometimes this is, you know, it's a little technical difficulty sometimes. You know, I should have had this ready. But see, I just realized it like this. You know, from what I'm saying, people are going to say, oh, he got robbed. You know, people are going to say, you know, Shawn Porter should have won and Kell Brook wasn't busy enough. But then they're going to say that Marcos McDonald lost against Floyd Mayweather. Here we go. All right, we're here. Deontay Wilder was looking suspect, too. Hang in there, hang in there, hang in there. All right, here we go.
Porter's going to make it up to top. If you're going to run, he's going to get out there.
See, it's the reason why I'm doing this. I want you to hear it. Oh man, you're gonna be pissed off at me. But really, there's a reason why I'm doing this. You know, I want to show that that Shawn Porter. Okay, here we go. Listen.
Fight will be the biggest wins a Brit has ever scored in the USA. Lloyd Huntington's upset of welterweight king Donald Curry in '86. Lennox Lewis over Mike Tyson in 2002. Evander Holyfield in 1999. Now Kell Brook looks to take the belt back to Britain, or will it stay in America around the waist of Showtime Shawn Porter?
This fight was, I think, a lot of what we expected it to be. The counter punching of Brook the attacks of Shawn Porter. And I think when you look at the face of Shawn Porter, you understand that win, lose, or draw, this was not quite the effort that he wanted in terms of being consistent in his attack.
That's very true. But nonetheless, he did show the heart of the champion. He gave it all every round.
Yes, you would expect nothing less from Shawn.
Kudos to both men.
Here with the announcement of who is going to leave StubHub Center with the IBF welterweight title, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Judge at ringside.
Oh man, I'm trying to invite people.
David Harris.
But listen.
114 to 114, even a draw. Overruled by judges, Max DeLuca. He scores the night 117.
If you want to join, you should be able to join now.
And Adelaide Bird, who scores the night 116 to 112 in favor of the winner by majority decision, and the new welterweight champion of the world, the special one.
The special one enjoying this very special moment. Kell Brook had to wait a long time, an interminable wait, for his shot at the championship, and he will head back to the United Kingdom, the IBF welterweight champion. And now you mentioned it off the air here, the 114 score was turned in by the British judge.
He had in the draw, the two American judges had it by a fairly wide margin for Kell Brook.
Shawn Porter tastes defeat for the first time, but Kell Brook improves to 33-0, going 12 hard rounds to capture the IBF welterweight championship. Daniel, your thoughts?
Very tough competitors, very tough fight. Hard to judge for myself, but the better man won tonight with the more cleaner, effective shots, and he's going to take this sweet victory back home.
And it was all about this man keeping his composure, his demeanor, which we saw even at the end. Instead of jumping around and celebrating, he was just very calm. That was what kept him in this fight.
Let's go to Jim Gray, who's standing by with the new champion.
All right, Mo, thank you very much.
This is what I want you to listen to.
Congratulations to you. You came overseas, won this championship. What does this moment mean to you?
You can tell us with my face how much it means to me. 20 years, me, the little boy, 9-year-old, dreaming to be a world champion, and I'm the champion of the world. It's unbelievable.
What was the difference in this fight, in your estimation? He was so aggressive and just kept boring in all night.
To be honest with you, it might have been, looked a bit scrappy, you know, but I did what I had to do with him because he's low, you know, he dips underneath, you know, he's scrappy. And you know, if he didn't come across slick like I'm normally a slick fighter, it might have been scrappy at times, but I'm the champ, baby.
You got the cut in the second round, yet it was cleaned up pretty well. It didn't seem to bother you the rest of the way.
No, it didn't bother me at all, you know what I mean? I kept calm, listened to me corner, did what I needed to do tonight, you know, come over. No, I've done it since Lloyd Dunnigan from England, 28 years, and here I have, I've travelled the underdog, you know, and I've come here and took it off him in his backyard.
Kell, how did you manage to stay so composed and calm and patient?
I was born to do this, you know. I always find a way, I always deliver. You know, the better the opposition, the better I am. You're going to see me in some mega fights, mega fights. I'm the world champion now, everyone will want to fight me. You know what I mean? I'm not shouting anyone out, but Keith Thurman, you know, and Floyd Mayweather, all the top fighters, you know, are probably watching this fight now, you know. I'll welcome them fights.
Kell, how did you manage to overcome all the injuries, everything that has gone on, and to still maintain your equilibrium and get to this point to get a championship fight?
Everything, you know, meant for a reason. It's been a long time coming now, but it's been worth it, let me tell you. This feeling, you know, the way away from me, a little girl and my wife, you know, for weeks on end, you know, going away training, up in the morning when it's cold, training hard, going to bed early, sacrificing to this moment now. It's worth it 10 times over.
Do you know at what point in this fight that you felt confident that you were landing the cleaner shots?
You know, it was tough all along, but, you know, he's a very, very tough customer, you know, everyone looked up. Past Shawn Porter, but he showed he's a true champion, a warrior. You know, we both got cut for both picking, but you know, I was a better man tonight.
So Keith Thurman, you would like next. What about Amir Khan? You said in the pre-fight meeting that you'd like to fight Amir Khan. You think maybe 80,000 people at Wembley.
I think Amir Khan can get in the queue now. You know, I'm top dog in England. Everyone knows that. You know, everyone wrote me up at home. I want so much respect, and I hope I get so much respect. So I come here. Everyone thought I'd get knocked out by Shawn Porter. You know what I mean? I come over here and I beat him.
All right, congratulations, Kell. Terrific performance. Shawn, how would you assess what happened here this evening?
Too much went on tonight for me to give my final conclusion. I will say that I think I'm still the champion. I fought the champion, and I don't think he beat the champion tonight. But with that being said, now I'm 24-1, and I got to go back to the drawing board. Team Porter, we're here. We're still here. We did everything we always do, and we're going to continue to do everything we always do. The Porter way.
Shawn, you were quite aggressive tonight in your attack, but do you feel you were effective?
Yeah, I thought it was effective with my attack. He was ready for my attack, and he did hold a substantial amount tonight throughout the round. Giving no excuses at this point. He took my belt tonight. I want the rematch. I'll go find him wherever he is next week and take it from him.
At any point in this fight, did you feel that you would have to get desperate and connect?
No. There were points in the fight where I did see it, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to connect with some of the punches that I threw tonight. I knew it. Mistake on my behalf. That's why we work hard in the gym, and tonight we didn't get it all right, but we will come back and get it all right next time.
And what will you do to try and get it right? Where do you have to improve?
You know what? At this point, I am still a fighter. I don't make any of the business decisions. I'm going to leave here with a smile on my face, continue to smile like I always do, continue to do things like the Porters do it, the Porter way, and we'll come back stronger and we'll win the next one.
How much did your cut in the 6th round, the accidental headbutt, affect you in the fight going forward? There seems to be a lot of blood coming out.
Yeah, you know what? I honestly don't know. I ignore all that stuff. I do what I'm supposed to do. I do my job. And again, like I said, just this one I guess was too close to call for the judges. We didn't see it that way, but we are going to move on.
Shawn, thank you. Appreciate it.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right. Well, back to the ringside.
All right, Jim, very gracious and tasting defeat for the...
Now, as I said, you know, the fight's less than 2 hours old, and you're going to get a lot of people that are going to say he was robbed. There's going to be a lot of these people that didn't actually watch the fight in HD. They're going to be watching on screens or on their phones, you know, with their homies, you know. But judges score fights differently. We know that. We know all judges score fights differently. But in this case right here, he clearly beat Shawn Porter in a close fight. I had it 116-112. I don't think that I think he should have been warned, Kell Brook, but he did it in such a stylistic, crafty way. The way he was holding on to Kell Brook, the way he was holding on to Shawn Porter, that it wasn't displeasing to the fans to the point where, think about it, it was still an exciting fight. Now, knowing about Kell Brook, knowing about Shawn Porter, and knowing what a smart boxer with a high ring IQ should do, like a Floyd Mayweather or a Carlos Molina, and no, not that Molina, the 154 IBF Molina, and an Andre Ward and a Bernard Hopkins, they would use the same tactics Kell Brook used, would they not? You know, they would neutralize all that aggressiveness by smothering you, you know, and then using their clean punching to win. So, hold on one second. So, let's see what he got to say.
I made a number of good points there in a short period of time, that there was excessive holding in that bout. There was a lot of smothering of the shots, again, by Kell Brook on Shawn Porter. Not as bad as certainly saw earlier with Saki Obika earlier in the night, but still effectively smothering a lot of the attack. But also, in the end result, was Steve Farhood scoring it 7 rounds to 5 in favor of Kell Brook, because he was landing some clean shots. Tough fight to score. Really shows the real depth and quality in the welterweight division. And
you know, one judge, and just so happened that judge was from the UK, the one that had it 114. So you can't say, you know, the judges was anybody's pocket and all kind of stuff like that. You know, it's outrageous at this point in time. But I do want to say this. I'm trying to figure out how to invite people. Like, where's everybody at? You know, I had everything cool. Okay, we're gonna get that done. Okay, I got a message. Let's see what they're saying. Are you going to hang out? Yeah, I'm gonna hang out. But you know, I wanted to get to a point. Oh wait, somebody's showing evil. I don't know about that. But what I want to say is that Kell Brook is now in a better situation than Amir Khan. Kell Brook has the IBF 147-pound title from who was, before this fight, the most feared 147-pound fighter outside of Keith Thurman and Shawn Porter. Now that makes you question, that's another Al Heyman fighter. You got Mauricio Herrera versus Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, you know what happened with him. You got the Shawn Porter thing that just happened with Kell Brook. You got the Vasil Lomachenko, Gary Russell thing. You know, you got the Adrian Broner, Marcus McDonald thing. You know, you see what's going on here, like when these guys start going up against talent, you know, and if you think about it, Kell Brook had a Gary Russell-ish type record, a Gary Russell Jr.-ish type record. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of people, I can understand that if you don't watch, Box Nation, or if you don't watch Sky Sports, or if you don't want to spend your Saturdays in the house watching boxing, that's what I do. I look at it just like a shift. I look at it on Saturdays. I have to stay in all day and I have to watch boxing. I get all my shit done on Fridays. You know, I make sure, you know, I sleep in late a little on Saturdays. I get all my chores done. And then by 12 p.m. noon here on the East Coast, I start watching boxing. And that starts with whatever's in Box Nation, Arena TV, or wherever, Sky Sports. And then my day doesn't end right now. It's 2:20 a.m. So I can understand if you don't like, but when I talk about boxers like Kell Brook, and when I talk about boxers like Anthony Joshua or George Groves or Marco Huck, you know, or Arthur Abraham or David Price or Tyson Fury or Derek Chisora or Lee Selby or Scott Quigg or Carl Frampton, I'm watching these fights. So, you know, if you don't know who these guys are, and you saying, oh, that guy's going to come over here, he's a bum, he's going to get knocked out. No, you know, y'all don't know what you're talking about. You know, because I understand and I know that you do not sit in the house and watch all these fights. So you can't give accurate assessments. Now, people are going to say, oh, you're not a boxing expert and, you know, all this kind of stuff. No. It doesn't matter. Who's a boxing expert, really? Somebody that watches boxing all the time? What? Oh, wait. I guess I'll be the greatest boxing expert of all time in the next 20 years. Well, watching all these fights. But I'm the type of guy that I'm kind of OCD with it, that I'll continue to watch fights over and over and over again. And something in my heart wanted to say Kell Brook, but I said, in a fight like this, you know, it's risky. You don't go with a guy like Kell Brook over someone like Shawn Porter. You know, this was a rite of passage for him. You know, just like the rites of passage for Danny Garcia was Lucas Matisse, and the rites of passage for Adrian Broner was Marcus McDonald. Kell Brook had to get through Shawn Porter, and now he's 33-0 with 22 knockouts, but that 33-0 means a whole lot more now because he got that Shawn Porter name under there, and he's got that belt. And now you got Amir Khan, who was supposed to be fighting for that belt, and Kell Brook, you heard him in the post-fight interview, you know, he is the #1 fighter in 147 pounds in the UK because he's got the title and he beat a credible competition that's better than Luis Collazo, that's better than Julio Diaz, and that's better than Carlos Molina, and no, not that Molina, but that other Molina. You know, so, like I said, you know, I already know, like since this video was live, you know, I already know that people are going to find some type of way to give Shawn Porter that fight, and I can understand. But realistically, you're beating a dead horse. The man knew he lost, and that steroid controversy. Who is this? How can I get on Google Hangout? Listen, I put a link on my Facebook page. Oh, if you're not on my Facebook, you can't get on. So somebody here. But listen, I put the link on my Facebook page on how to join. All you got to do to join is just go to, you got to sign into your Gmail account, go to Google Hangout, you know what I'm saying? But be careful, don't do no freak shit because, see, this is Google, you know, so they will find you. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You know, I'm going to just leave it at that. But moving on. What's next for Kell Brook? Now, Shawn Porter says he wants a rematch. will he get a rematch right away? I think this is the type of situation where he should get a rematch right away. I think he should fight Kell Brook again in like January or something, you know, and maybe he'll have a better time because it was a close fight. And you know, also Kell Brook is still hold on. Yeah, whoever that smiling freak was, I just booted him. Keep smiling on my camera and shit like that. He had to go. Yeah. So I do know how to boot people, but I forgot what I was talking about. That freak smiling on my camera. Just, you know, relax. But Juan Manuel Marquez was in the building. Juan Manuel Marquez is in a great situation. Kell Brook, if you do not know, let's talk about the promotional situation. Let's talk about the politics. Kell Brook is under a promotional company called Matchroom Sport, Matchroom Boxing, the same promotional company that Carl Froch is under. You know, the same promotional company that put on the biggest boxing event of the last several years. You know, 70,000+ people. You know, they say it's 80, but I'm getting the numbers. People say it's 70,000+ people. You know, with Carl Froch and George Groves too. So this is a very credible company, and this is a an aggressive boxing promoter. His name is Eddie Hearn, who now has some very strong assets as far as moving forward in the future. For example, he has a very good heavyweight prospect in a guy named Anthony Joshua, 6'6", 240 pounds. You know, Olympic gold medalist. You know, better skill set than Deontay Wilder. He can move around. He's defensive. You know, just Google his name, Anthony Joshua. Watch him. I believe right now he's like 7-0. He fight in a couple of weeks, or he fight in September. You know, I will be covering a fight. I cover all his fights. So when you look at this promoter and you look at now the fact that he's not involved in that Showtime top rank Al Heyman HBO Bob Arum fiasco. So his fighter, Kell Brook, and I wish, you know, to a certain extent, I wish that they didn't pick Chris Algieri so soon, because if Kell Brook versus Pacquiao and Macau, you know, for that IBF belt, that would have been lovely. So Kell Brook can fight Marquez. Kell Brook can fight a Brandon Rios, a Timothy Bradley, a Floyd Mayweather, a Amir Khan, a Marcos Maidana, a Robert Guerrero. So in a way, you can look at it like, well, Kell Brook winning is good for boxing, because Shawn Porter, you know, Shawn Porter would have been fighting that carousel, that very large carousel, that very growing Al Heyman stable, you know. But still, you know, I feel Kell Brook is better, and I'm kind of happy for him. You know, I'm not from the UK or anything, but see, this is a guy who people just were writing off, you know, and I was on the fence with it. But see, when I talk about me being on the fence, they're like, oh, you know, like I don't know, but I couldn't. When I picked Paulie Malignaggi to beat Shawn Porter, you know what I did? I went with my heart. I made a stupid decision. I was going through some things, and I went with my heart, and I said, Paulie somehow gonna pull this through. And look what happened. He got slaughtered. You know, when I picked Miguel Cotto to lose to Sergio Martinez, I had explosive diarrhea the whole next day because I was talking. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even talk about it. When I picked Carl Froch to defeat George Groves in the second fight, I got slaughtered in my I got like 1,000 dislikes because I had to slaughter George Groves. Because why? I had that video has something like 100-some thousand views, but you have to look at how many people actually watched it. It could be somewhere between 30,000 to maybe, you know, 70,000. But the point is, you see me up there, and I was slaughtering George Groves on camera because why? I covered every single episode of Behind the Ropes. That's like the Sky Sports version of HBO 24/7. I even cover and watch live over here in the United States. Don't ask me how. The Gloves Are Off. You know, where it was like the Sky Sports version of HBO Face Off. You know, I covered every single bit of news on the fight leading up to the fight. So when the fight came and George Groves got put to sleep, you see me up here hype as hell. People are like, who the fuck is this guy clowning on fighter? Because why? Because I watch every single fight. But what I'm trying to say is that you got this boxing promoter making all these waves over there, and you'd be surprised how many American fans, who supposed real boxing fans, don't know who he is or don't know, anything about him. So that goes to tell you, and that makes me do research and ask, well, how are you making these assessments? There's certain people I can't have conversations with when it comes to boxing because they be like, man, I wish Andre Ward would just fight Floyd already. And it just be, and you just gotta be like, yeah, and just shake your head, or when people, they see these boxers come over here, and they don't know anything about him, and they say he's a bum, like Kell Brook. Every now and then I do experiments with my friends. They be like, yo, you watching that Shawn Porter Kell Brook fight? They be like, oh yeah, Shawn Porter, the dude that knocked out Paulie. Oh yeah, he gonna knock Brook the fuck out. Who the fuck, So when it comes to stuff like that, I can't have really deep down intelligent conversations about well, how is it going to beat him? But when it comes to that fight and this fight, remember that fight because I watched all those fights. So I'm not going to sit here and keep talking about that. I'm going to sit here and try to figure out what the hell I was going to do next. Because see, something is going on where we're supposed to be people here. It's 41 people, but still, it was supposed to be people being able to talk. And last week, I did one last week for Danny Garcia versus Rod Salker. Some people in here, everything was going good. But see, with Google Hangout, a lot of people just don't know how to use the shit. I'm learning how to use it. But see, what you do is you got to send the link out and invite people. And then, they get to join. But see, it asks, well, it is what it is. I'm not going to keep explaining myself. But see, let me do this real quick. What I want to do is I want to play this post-fight interview, but I'm not. I don't see any point. But long story short, we're in a situation where what is Amir Khan going to do now? He can't say shit. What can Amir Khan do? What can he say to Kell Brook after clowning him, talking about he don't want to fight him and everything? What can he do? Kell Brook has a title, Amir Khan doesn't. Kell Brook's a 147-pounder. What about that money now? How do you think Eddie Hearn feels, his promoter, when now he can walk up to Amir Khan and say, look, you want to fight now? Do you think confidently? No, okay, I'll tell you what. Here's some questions. I'm gonna answer them right here on my phone. I don't think that Amir Khan at this point in time could beat Kell Brook. After thinking about it, I'm trying to figure out, because I'm looking at the psyche of Amir Khan, and I'm looking at a fighter that's going to go out there and try to outstyle Kell Brook, and Kell Brook punches are clean, and then just looking at the Shawn Porter fight has me looking at Kell Brook a whole lot different. And looking at how, when it comes to Amir Khan, somebody's here. Looking how when it comes to Amir Khan, look at how when it comes to Amir Khan, what is the number one question about Amir Khan? Everybody asks the same shit. It's like, well, what about his chin? So Amir Khan is the type of...
Hello.
Yeah, what up? You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, hold on. Let me turn my sound up. But see...
He got his ass whooped.
Who?
He got his ass whooped.
Shawn Porter?
He got his ass whooped. He got boxed. He's got his head boxed out.
Yeah.
He looked like an amateur.
It was all that wrestling on the inside. See, what I was talking about how Kell Brook, he was doing the holding, but his holding wasn't it wasn't making the fight boring. The holding was the way he was doing it. It was crafty. It was savvy. It was veteran the way he was doing it.
It was smart, but boring. But he landed the cleaner shots, regardless if he was holding. He couldn't handle them. He couldn't handle doing nothing with them.
But
it looked like an amateur.
He didn't adjust to the holding. In this case, Kell Brook, I knew, and fans should have knew, that he had to smother. He had to take away that offense of Shawn Porter. And the only way to do that is once Shawn Porter get close, is the holding, grabbing, tie him up, and then once you break, hopefully you can get off the cleaner punches before or after the hold. You know, simple as that. You know, but at this point in time, that fight showed a lot about Shawn Porter. On, you know, you can't say he was exposed, but now you know. Okay, well, smother him, take away all that. You know, move around. You know, you sit there in front of him, especially if you don't got nothing crisp to hit him with. Paulie Malignaggi didn't have nothing to hurt Shawn Porter. Look what Kell Brook did to his face.
Most guys not big enough to smother him.
Yeah, but see, Kell Brook is not that much big. He's taller.
He's a big welterweight. He a big welterweight.
Yeah, oh yeah, by far. You know, but I just can't figure out where Shawn Porter goes from here. Does he go for the rematch?
I think he need to work on his timing. He need to work on timing people and learn how to counter people. If he would have made Kell get out first, Kell wouldn't have expected that. It would have threw a monkey wrench at him. But that's not his game. You know what I mean?
Nah, but all that smothering, you know, especially being his height. Here's the situation. That weight for him is an issue. He's about 5'6", you know, barely that.
Yeah, I don't like the short fighter.
And but him moving up to 154 pounds at that height, you know, I don't see how it's going to work. So him fighting at 147 pounds and then doing all that wild stuff, because he started getting desperate at the end, doing all that wild swinging and everything, you know, somebody's going to hurt him. And even though it looks like he has a chin, he was taking some.
Hurt tonight.
He was taking some clean, hard shots. You know, shots that will put anybody down. And that showed me right there, like, well, a Keith Thurman right there. Like, I can honestly say Keith Thurman, you know, would beat Shawn Porter. And that was the question before the night, could Keith Thurman beat Shawn Porter? I think we can say now confidently that Keith Thurman could beat Shawn Porter.
Is his timing as good as Kell's though? Is his straight punches gonna come like that? I see Thurman more as a jump in puncher with height and range.
Nah. The thing about Keith Thurman is the reason why everybody like him is because he can do it all and he has power behind everything. You know, so he can box. Like, he got the jab, he's got the body punch. You know, look what he did to Julio Diaz. He punched him. He punched the man in the stomach, broke his ribs. Like,
he's shown boxing sometimes.
What'd you say?
He's shown boxing. He's shown a boxing ability sometimes, but he always goes to finishing people. He always go for that finish because he hasn't fought anybody. So if he goes 12 rounds, we're gonna say he went 12 rounds with so and so. So his real skill hasn't shown because he's like, I need to get him out of here if I can be impressive. This guy don't belong here with me. But maybe he can beat him. But I still want to see more Porter. I think Porter need to probably stay away from people with that height over him. If he gonna keep going, he need a Tim Bradley. I know the fight probably can't happen, Golden Boy top rank, but he needed Tim Bradley in his life so it can be a more even playing field. I know they both at 147, but that height kicked his ass tonight, and not just the height. Kell was just a little too good in my opinion.
Well, if you put him up against Timothy Bradley, if you think about it, depends on what kind of fight Timothy Bradley going to fight. I'm not trying to say Shawn Porter got exposed because that's people use that. You know, they overuse it. What I'm trying to say is that, well, what happens if you put him up against a boxer that knows how to jab? You know, for example, if he was to move him up to 154 pounds, I'm just saying, move him up to 154 pounds and put him against Aries Lindy Lara. Where Aries Lindy Lara clean punching, the way he fought Canelo, with the way that 1-2 combination was hitting, even though he didn't throw enough of them. I'm thinking if you put somebody like that against Shawn Porter, you know, those punches to the face will start adding up, especially if you know how to smother him on the inside.
Yeah, I already did.
Like for example, like Marcus McDonald will always do a better job than Shawn Porter to Floyd Mayweather. You know, Shawn Porter, he gets all in there, but it's not defined. You know, he fights you on the inside, you know, but it's not really definition behind it. You know, it's wild. And Marcus McDonald's is wild, but it's somewhat wildly accurate, if that makes sense.
I noticed some things against Devin. Devin doesn't have the power that Brook has. So he was able to show some boxing skill versus Devin. And he wanted to do it tonight, but when he would shoot his jab, Brook would shoot the jab with him, and he couldn't do nothing with that. Like I just was seeing like he wanted to change his style up a little bit, and then Brook was like, nope, you can't do it. You can't jab with me, and he started going right back to the shit. Because the first 2 rounds, I literally had it like 118 without scoring the 12th round. He showed him he couldn't do anything with him, in my opinion. He got beat the hell up.
If you look in his face, like if you look in his face, he was clearly discouraged from the very first round. And if you look at Kell Brook, okay, let's say who has the faster hands, Kell Brook or Shawn Porter? At this point in time, we can say Kell Brook has the faster hands. Who is the harder puncher? Now, see, that all depends. But in this fight, it looks like it's Kell Brook. But if you look at a guy like Deontay Wilder, now, what is he now? 32-0 with 32-0 with 32 knockouts. And you look at Kell Brook, who is now 33-0 with 22 knockouts. You think, well, that's still 22 knockouts. So that power is putting people down. So Shawn Porter, I'm thinking, if you look at the fact that he only has 14 knockouts, and if I'm correct, in his last 10 fights, if I'm correct, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up. Yo,
will I be abused if I say the PEDs might have been real?
No, listen. That's what I gotta talk about, because
I was like, hold on, like he didn't have the same. I think he tired a little bit in the Devin fight, and of course we didn't get to see his stamina in the Paulie fight because he wiped his ass out. But 6th round, mouth open, discouraged and tired.
Well, see, here's the thing about the PED, the drugs and the performance enhancing drugs. Shawn Porter is already suspect in fans' eyes, and it's not me. If you go on social media, like fans, people who watch boxing, he's suspect. Fans are feeling like, well, what's all the issue with the drug testing? Like what's been going on with it? In fact, I'm gonna play an interview from Kell Brook just a few weeks ago where he was like, they haven't had drug testing yet, but I want to show something real quick. Let me see if I can get it up here. Yeah, here we go. Screen share. Yeah, do you see this on my screen? You see this? You see this record on my screen?
No, I can't. What is it saying?
Do you see like where it say like box rec?
No, I just see your picture, your webcam.
Oh, it ain't working.
I really do think Porter should have been working on timing him, making Brook get off first. I've never been impressed with the way Brook get off first because his volume is so low. That's why a one-Manuel Marquez fight, that shit is so interesting. I know he's old as dust, but if he could be the same Marquez we're used to, that's going to be a hell of a fight. I predict maybe at least one knockdown in that fight. I think it'll be Marquez, but he's going to get his ass up like usual.
No, well, put Marquez against Kell Brook. Now that's a fight where I think Marquez would win, because Marquez will match him with hands. Marquez is standing right there in the middle of the ring. Marquez is not, his hands are not as fast as they used to be, but his combinations, they come crisp and they're very accurate. So I don't know if Brook will be able to put up with that. Not in the middle of the ring.
That's what I told people.
Brook will have to stay on the back, Brook will have to stay on the outside and keep moving around him and boxing it, because Marquez is having trouble at this point in time in his career in boxing people, that can move around. He can't chase people like he used to, especially because he got that big upper, that bodybuilder upper body and those skinny legs. But what was you about to say?
I was telling people that I felt like I didn't watch any of Brook's prior fights because I'm not gonna watch him beating up on bums until he's scheduled to fight a big fight. So I said I'm gonna hold off on my prediction, but I know boxer versus brawler on a world class level, I'm going boxer most of the time. But I still held off on the prediction. So I say he proved about 30% of himself tonight, because now it's time to see what he's going to do when he get counterpunch, what he's going to do when a person is about his size and has that reach on him, or even reach with the same height and speed, and they can outbox him. Look at how Trout did Cotto. Cotto, you know, he was able to beat him from distance. He was able to sometimes manhandle him. And then when he got in the ring with Lara, got in there with that real boxer, he got outclassed. So that's my next thing for congratulations to him, but I'm hoping that's not what happened. And then look, he didn't. I know they say the injuries were all injuries, but he didn't get in there with the real boxer of Devin, no matter how you slice it. I know Porter beat Devin, but that does not mean Kell can beat. I mean, you know, that doesn't mean Kell can beat.
Kell Brook, I just checked. Kell Brook has been the #1 contender for the IBF title for 25 months.
Yeah.
I remember that fight when he fought Carson Jones. That was in on July the 7th, 2012. So it is August the 17th, 2014, and since July 2012, he was the #1 contender. Since then, he's fought Carson Jones, Hector Davidson, Vojislav Sinchenko, Alvaro Robles, and now he's got that name of Shawn Porter under his belt. So he's had so much time to prepare. You got 2 years, you know, to prepare. You know, while you got Devin Alexander out here, you know, who did he fight before? Okay, he had to get the belt from Randall Bailey, but he had fought Marcos Maidana before that, you know, and then, you know, he fights Shawn Porter. He's supposed to fight Amir Khan. This whole situation, you know, this Devin Alexander, Shawn Porter, Kell Brook, Amir Khan situation, it's just all out of control now, because now it just makes Amir Khan look even worse, because now your domestic UK rival, Kell Brook, now has a belt that you were supposed to have that you turned down a fight for.
Yeah. And so, I hope he doesn't get a title shot cherry picking his way to it. He running his mouth so much that his chin should get stronger. That's all I'm saying.
So now it would be, in my opinion, it would be more lucrative. It would be more money to have Mayweather and Kell Brook in Wembley because of that belt.
That's what I was telling him. This man got a strap on his waist. He was fighting bums, bringing out 12,000 fighting bums. I ain't got the strap around his waist.
I see that. That's how they do over in on overseas fights, yo. You'd be surprised. You know, like American fights is different. There's a lot of what I've noticed about the overseas fights. You know, anything outside the United States, there's a lot more passion in it. You know, for example, like the Klitschko's. You know, if you look at their fights, there's the stadiums that they're filling up. You know, but earlier this summer on May the 31st, when Carl Frost fought George Groza for the 80,000, I'm in Delaware and Philadelphia asking friends about the fight, and you'd be surprised how many people didn't know. And I'm thinking, like, this is the biggest. When was the last event that had 60,000 people in there? I think that was Manny Pacquiao versus Clottey. Yeah. You know, but
I thought it was 40,000. I thought they had 40,000 there.
Yeah, maybe. See, you know exactly. But they said this was 80,000. But the numbers I'm hearing was a little over 70,000 or maybe middle of 70,000, but still.
Either way.
You know, but you'd be surprised how many people didn't know about it. And also, over there, they got their major cable company is called Sky Sports. You know, they got their ESPN, you know, version, you know, called Sky Sports and everything. Basically, it's big shit over there, but you'll be surprised that how many Americans don't know about this. They'll see something like that and they think it's just bootleg or something. But I see more people are coming. So what I want to do is I want to play this Kell Brook interview. Let me figure out how I'm gonna do it first. Oh yeah. Let me play this interview. Because the drug testing thing is a little bit out of control. You know, and now that he lost his fight, we might as well talk about it now because everybody's going to be talking about it. It's going to be on everybody's headlines. It's going to be all over the Facebook forums. You know, he must have been juicing because where was all the power at? He let a bum, Kell Brook, come over here and beat him. You know, this is just what people are going to say. I think that's pretty obvious at this time.
I really think he should have worked on time. Like, what the hell is this blindfold training he's doing? Like, work on your damn timing.
He was trying to be Mike Tyson. Like he was really trying to be Mike Tyson.
Like I mean, this man, he like letting him watch you spar. That really didn't do anything for Brook because we knew Porter. We know what he is. We knew he was coming ahead. He was gonna headhunt. He was gonna be wild. He was gonna try to fluster you out of fighting your fight. Brook said all along, "I'm gonna fight my fight, and he's gonna be surprised. I'm gonna stay cool." So sometimes I listen to these fighters, and I'm like, man, work on your timing. Have a game plan. Have a plan, a B plan.
It seemed like he had no plan.
No. The only thing was his B plan was better head movement. I'm like, why is not that your A plan? Why is your head movement not on point from the jump?
Yeah, he wanted just to beat him up. That's what that was.
Nah, that
but now, I mean, regardless of the fact, this steroid thing is going to overshadow the whole fight. I can see it now. It always usually starts like that. When people are going to say, like, where's all that power at? And then the fact that, the drug testing was so late. I'm looking for that. Here it go, right here. I got that.
What was your score? What was your score on the fight?
Oh, I had 116, 112.
Oh, yeah, it was deep. No question about it. It was a deep fight.
I went 8-4.
I said, I just seen Cleaner punching. I seen him actually hurting dude. He was hurting Porter. But remember though, Kell's a real 147 fighter.
Let me interview real quick. It's from Kobe Carson, so I'll put the link below.
I got a comfort from her,
Holding, watching like my opponents. For some reason, I'm on settee when I do it. I'm thinking of a ring with him, and I'm getting out, and so I'm not ready to be looking yet. I will have a little look. When we get out to California, we're concentrating on the game plan. We'll be getting tips, we'll be pointing out, we'll be watching it, and I'll watch it a little bit. Marking them up, 6 rounds of him, and that's like that. I went no more.
Can you clarify the situation regarding the drug testing?
Listen to this.
You asked for it?
Yeah.
July 23rd.
I think some out there that I've got to be careful what I said, but I've had no random drug testing. I don't know what the situation. We said, in the contract at the beginning when we were negotiating as purses, the venue, like all the messing about. We said that we needed that random drug tested in, and no science.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on anything there?
Well, listen, I don't really know the situation. I know obviously that you had asked for it before. You and Eddie had asked for this before, but it's the situation now. I'm not too sure, so perhaps it's a good idea just to leave that one there. And
we nearly the fight, and there's no one being looking. I've had no drug tested, so I'm not happy about this. Listen, I'm fit well. Whatever you want to say about whatever, I'm going there and I'm taking it regardless.
Okay, Kell, we're all behind you.
So you hear that? Like, it's crazy because he's saying like it's a month before the fight and I didn't get no drug tests. That's the first thing we asked for basically, and that interview was on July the 23rd. So now you got to ask yourself, why was that such a big issue? Like if the man asked for drug testing in his contract, and in the interview he said I got to be careful the way I say it. Ask yourself, well, it looks like Shawn Porter's juicing, or he did something that he was not supposed to be doing, and it wasn't enough time for him to get off of it. And the fact that they're doing something called UCLA, and listen, I did some research on it, but I got to do another video on it because I want to make sure I say it right. But the UCLA drug testing is legit to a certain extent. I'm going to just save it like for that. But the biggest issue is not the drug testing; it's about the time frame.
Yeah, I agree.
It's about the time frame on like why are you just giving blood, and posting it on, what was it, on Instagram or Twitter when he posted it on there? Less than, so you can say you're testing and giving up blood, but you should have been doing this on the side. Obvious that it's some monkey business going on with that. No, but I'm gonna let y'all run your mouth for a minute before I look. I'm looking up something real quick.
But they said the fight was the fight, when it was, what was it, the 6th, I believe, of September. Then it came back. It seemed like they tried to make an excuse using that.
No, it was supposed to be in August.
26th.
No,
August 26th.
I believe it was supposed to be the week of soccer. It was supposed to be last week. It was supposed to be last week.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in Barclays, but they also had it for September the 6th also, right?
Yeah, I believe so, but they would also remember. This shit. Put it on my show. But remember that.
The backyard slayer.
But remember that Shawn Porter was talking about how he didn't want the contract. What's going on? This is America. What's going on?
It's the backyard slayer. It's the Mark Ortiz dude.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's Mark Ortiz. That's his name.
Yeah, he's muted. Now I look at, what do you think? I look at where did Shawn Porter go? Because every fight people are gonna say I want drug tested, and every time he dodges it's gonna be just like the Manny Pacquiao situation. But yo, people just keep sending me messages, and it's like it's crazy.
That noise is Tadler. I see his volume thing going up. He's typing, and his microphone's on.
Oh yeah. I got the questions up here. My bad. Oh yeah, I see the questions now. Yeah, I see the questions. All right, I see questions up on the top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a little Q&A section.
I got Neil Johnson. That's the guy that does the interviews, right?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, he I think it's show called.
Oh yeah. That is him. Yeah, that is him. But no, y'all gotta start talking or something. I'm trying to find something real quick.
I'm a fan of the next fight I want to see Brook in. Only thing I hope he doesn't do is take that belt overseas and hold it hostage. And I seen that on the.
I see that happening, but not right now. It depends. I see one more fight that didn't happen. Because they got a lot of guys over there that they would want to get their title on, and want to put Brook up against, put it in stadiums and all that. But Marquez was in the building for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, and I'm sure him and Nacho, they're like, I'm sure they're glad that Brook won, because it won't be any promotional politics involved, like it would be with the other.
You're right about that.
So that's a fight that they can just make.
I think we still got lied to about Cold War over. Like, yeah, sure. Like, wasn't that May? Wasn't that May?
Cold War what?
Yeah, they were telling us Cold War is over in May. That's what Oscar and Bob kiss on Christmas, and we still got this shit going on. We can't see Bradley Porter, and that would be a huge fight because they both coming off losses. It would be like a career-defining fight. This guy, one of these guys needs a win, and we can't even get the damn fight.
Well, there's something going on with that I cannot find out. I can get a lot of information, but it's something going on with Bob Arum and Bob Arum, HBO, and Al Heyman. There's something going on, and Steven Espinoza, but it's like a brick wall right there, And what you're seeing is you can somewhat see that it's that Al Heyman is, you might as well say, running Golden Boy, because why? Al Heyman fighters fight on Golden Boy cards. You hear more about Al Heyman people signing with Al Heyman than people signing with promotional companies. You don't hear people signing up with Golden Boy. You don't hear them saying such and such a signed. When the last time you heard somebody say they signed a Golden Boy contract? You know, like when you don't hear that. So you have what happens when Al Heyman decides to take all his fighters because they don't have Golden Boy contracts, or majority of them don't, and then he goes, and does with his own thing. And then this is a man who's so powerful that he can tell all his fighters, you know what, I'm advising you not to sign promotional contracts. I'll still get you fights though. That's dangerous for boxing if you think about it. That's where all this business talk is coming from.
Did you hear Shawn Porter after the fight? He said, I don't make any other management decisions. I'm just a fighter.
Well, they all say that, That's because these people forget that they stopped saying thank you Al Heyman a lot because they're getting around on social media and everything. They smartened up, but they don't pick none of their fights. It was rare for somebody like Canelo to go in and say, no, I want Lara. Like they said, I want Lara. Al Heyman fighters can't do that. But he sets you up. He gives you Rod Sulk and say, listen, take this right now. Because you're doing so good against Herrera. I think once Andre Berto got beat down that first time by Victor Ortiz, and then he got beat down again by Robert Guerrero, and then he got beat down again by Soto Carras. I think Al Heyman just said, you know what? No, I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm saving my guys. I'm not, So when it comes to his fighters, he don't want to put guys like Adrian Broner. I think that bothers him when he see his fighters get beat down like that. Because the Andre Berto, remember, Andre Berto was supposed to be in line for Floyd so long ago. It was supposed to be this ultimate black on black fight, African American.
Floyd was at the fight where he got his ass whooped, right?
Yeah, I think yeah. Just like Floyd was at the fight with Broner and Paul Nugget. So every time, like it seems like when Heyman gets one of those fighters, that he wants to start grooming to be the next Floyd Mayweather, they get fucked up. Marcus McDonald got fucked up. Andre Berto got fucked up 3 times. Gary Russell got fucked up. Who else? Who's another Al Heyman fighter? We can't really count Shawn Porter.
Thomas Williams most recently. Friday night fights.
Yeah, him. But I'm talking about on this.
Yeah. He just the most recent.
Like he's saving, and this is kind of bad for a guy like Keith
Peterson got fucked up.
Yeah, but this is kind of bad for Al Heyman. I mean, not Al Heyman. Keith Thurman, because how long is Keith Thurman going to be protected? And it's so obvious now. Like we're seeing the same shit happening. Like I said in my previous videos, you get.
So you think he's protected or ducked? You think Thurman is protected or ducked?
Protected, because.
And it's just masked. You think they masking it?
Well, who's he ducking? And who's his manager? Who picks the fights?
He calling everybody out. He's calling everybody out. Nobody will take him.
So you don't think that he's calling everybody out, and then Al Heyman's going to him like, "Whoa, calm down. All right, take your time." You don't think that when Keith Thurman says, he wants Robert Guerrero, and then Heyman go to Robert Guerrero and say, "You want Keith Thurman?" Robert Guerrero look like, "Yo, I'm trying to get Mayweather or Amir Khan." But he know not to put him against Amir Khan right now because he just signed Amir Khan. He'll probably get knocked out. But what I'm saying is, you heard the rumors of that fight happening, but I'm trying to get you to look at the matchmaking. So in order to get you to understand the matchmaking, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to April. All right, April the 26th, you have Keith Thurman versus Julio Diaz as the main event. You have Lucas Matisse versus John Molina. But what do you see? 2 guys that can fight at 147 pounds who don't fight, even though Matisse is mostly 140. Then you go to most recently, you go to the
Salka.
Yeah, there's the Salka and the Lamont Peterson thing.
Fucking bullshit.
And then you got Broner Matisse on the same card. And then when you go back to September of last year, you have Broner and Khan on the same card. So if you notice with this undercard coming up, that shit failed. Now that pay-per-view last year, it did good. As far as, you know, anything I'm gonna say over 700,000 is a success for Floyd Mayweather, but he always oversees expectations, and the fact, the reason why the numbers can't be officially released and celebrated is because that was the most expensive card of all time. It wasn't because of Floyd that the numbers wasn't celebrated. It was because it was the most expensive card of all time, and it was the highest ticket gate sales of all time, the highest ticket prices of all time, and they didn't get the return that they wanted. So in this case, Floyd Mayweather has to get his 30 million plus regardless. You know, now he thought he was going to make 70 million, you know, and he released that on his Twitter because he thought he was going to get a huge percentage of the pay-per-view buys. Now, those pay-per-view buys, if you don't know, you know how it works, is it kicks in at a certain time. Now, he get a certain percentage, but nowhere near, you know, that extra $40 million he was supposed to get. So, going to this undercard, you look at this undercard, and you say they got Leo Santa Cruz, you know, versus Manuel Roman. They got Miguel Vasquez versus Mickey Bay.
I like that fight.
You know, yeah, I like that fight. They got John Molina versus Humberto Soto. Now that's a good fight. Now that's a good card. But see, I'm not gonna say me, but a lot of fans feel that well, you know, that's a bullshit card, but that's better than a whole lot of cards we've been getting for years.
Damn right. Especially I know Vasquez ain't that exciting, but I think Bay is a step up in competition for him.
He's a special kid. But the undercard, like, you got to think, Floyd got to get his money regardless. So they figured, like, we made that stat card, giving Amir Khan $1 million+, giving Broner $1 million+. You know, let's just calm down, split that money up, put, you know, a couple more better fights. They got Angulo on the card too.
Hey man, this dude look like fucking Trayvon Martin, man. I had to say that. This Pactar Slayer dude.
I don't know what's up with this guy.
He look like Trayvon Martin and shit.
Yeah, shit. Pay-per-view numbers are so crazy. They said he was like fucking Trayvon Martin, though.
Did you hear Espinoza said he's not releasing any more numbers unless they go over 1.5? Sound like he's covering his ass a little bit.
I remember that part, but I do know that they don't unless they do a certain amount.
He said he won't. I read a article where it was saying he won't be releasing any numbers over 1.5.
Well, I mean, that's good for him, you know. But regardless, there's inside sources. The numbers are always going to come out. There's always going to be somebody that's able to get them. Now, they come from leaks. They come from it might be a janitor mopping on a late night. He overhears a conversation.
But we want the shit though.
What you say?
But we want the real shit though. Like regardless if it's good or bad, like they ought to be released. Like damn, that's fucked up.
Well, see, it's a part of a gimmick because see they can't release it because why if they release it, what happens? You know, we see that Mayweather's not doing all the numbers he said he would be doing, and therefore that's one less excuse for him to not fight Pacquiao. The numbers is just the numbers is about the gimmick. The numbers wouldn't mean so much if Floyd made it mean so much. Roy Jones used to be on pay-per-view all the time, pulling like 250,000 pay-per-view buys, and nobody cared about pay-per-view numbers back then. You know, people used to pay for them Roy Jones pay-per-views. He on 3 pay-per-views a year.
That was closed circuit TV type shit.
Yeah, but he was charging. No, it was on regular pay-per-view. Charging people.
Yeah, he's getting his money.
It was charging people, but now, with all you might as well talk about it. Like with all the streaming and everything going on, you know, they gotta make Floyd is boxing, but also he doesn't realize the damage he's doing to boxing by not fighting the best. Because fans have a reason to do certain shit. It's kind of like the situation that's going on with like in Missouri, where you got the protesters, you know, like protesting because you got the cops shooting the dude all up. You know what I'm talking about. I never say his name, but then you got the people who are looting, you know, and like messing up the message the protesters are trying to send. So what you got is you got these people that are looting, and they say, oh, we got a reason to loot because fuck all this shit, you know, like this is racist. But when you look at it for the fans feel we got a reason not to pay for these fights. Floyd not fighting who we want him to fight, and it all starts at the top. It all starts with him, and I'm sure somebody probably talked to him or been talking to him or Al Hammond and saying, listen, he's got to fight Pacquiao. He doesn't, you know, if he doesn't fight, like people are saying they're not buying pay-per-views and everything no more. You know, technology is just crazy these days. You know, it's just so much, you know, in so many different ways that people can just watch this shit for free. And what I do, I can never boycott any fights. You know, I can never get on here and I can never say, you know, I'm not going to be paying for this and I'm not going to be watching that. You know, it's counterproductive to what I do. You know, but what I will do is, you know, it will get to a point, you know, where I'll start telling people not to buy no fights. I'm like, listen, don't buy that shit. You know, I'm not going to tell you, you know, I'm not going to tell you to support certain shit. Like, if that card, that Danny Garcia Rod Silver card, I supported it because I have to. You know, but realistically, unless you're a fan of those fighters and like individually, why should hardcore boxing fans watch it?
September the 13th, November the 22nd. If both guys get the W, there's no reason in hell in May that fight shouldn't be happening. Like the big surprise, I'm a Mayweather fan. People gonna call me a Flomo, whatever they want to call me, but both sides got to come together. And that shit got to get done in May, or that's just like that's just shit is crazy. Like we can't have it. We can't have it.
And the thing is, it got so bad that other fights can't happen. Other top ranked fights and HBO Showtime fights can't happen until those two, until Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight, because you can't make a Robert Guerrero versus Timothy Bradley fight, because they're gonna ask automatically. Fans are gonna ask, well, how did you make Mayweather? That fight has to be made first before any other fights can be made.
But when they asked Oscar about that, he said, well, Floyd is his own boss, so even if I am working with him, you know, even if I am working with Bob Arum, Floyd's still his own boss, so I don't speak for Floyd. And I think that's true. Like I think he really does got a little vendetta. I mean, like I said it's a huge chance that he could be scared of Manny Pacquiao. It's a huge chance any boxer can be scared. But I just don't know.
Scared. I think that because they weren't going to fight before, I don't think it's scared. I think that each fight that he avoided fighting Pacquiao made it worse because it's coming too close to the end of his career to take a risk like that. You know, people say, you know, well, he's going to fight such and such, and then for his last fight, he's going to fight Pacquiao. That's stupid. You know, why would you take that risk no matter what? You don't take that risk as your last fight. You always have one fight to make sure you reach it got so bad for him because you got Pacquiao who's been knocked out cold. And people know he got put to sleep. So the fact that he got put to sleep, what do you think he's gonna do when he gets in there with Floyd? He's gonna be throwing everything because he's been put to sleep before. What do we got to lose? So in my opinion, Pacquiao was worse than ever. You know, because he know I finally got him, and people think this Pacquiao be smiling. And I said in his videos before that he'd be smiling and he'd be praying and everything. You know, like go home to his wife and he get pussy like everybody else. You know, he get mad just like everybody else. You know
I don't think either guy is the same fighter though. Like it's lost a little luster. Neither guy is the same. Like getting challenged by Maidana.
But one thing though, Floyd don't have the power no more. That's the thing.
And Floyd himself is saying that he don't see the same power on pack shots. He was alluding to that because Ariza's gone, but you know,
no, the power's not there in all the Pacquiao shots. But regardless, more power is left of his than it is of Floyd. Floyd not even like marking people's faces up no more. You know, Pacquiao still swelling up eyes and shit. So
that could be due to volume, though. That could be due to volume.
Yeah, but still, Floyd, like you know. Floyd could not do enough to Marcos Maidana to keep Marcos Maidana from coming inside.
I think let me say something about that. I think the body work Floyd did to him was really Marcos McDonough did a lot of volume work, body work in volume, but I think Floyd's body work was more significant than Chino's because he was hitting him while he was going full speed in his body. It was a technical mindset.
It was those jabs to the body. Floyd was consistently landing with the jab to the body.
And not just that, when he would be on the ropes, he would hit him with an uppercut. It would be precise. Like Paulie would be like, "Oh shit!" Like damn, I'm like, it's just a body shot. But then next thing you know, he slowed. 5th or 6th round, you'll see Chino take a deep ass breath in the middle of the ring, and the whole fight fucking changed after that, in my opinion. But I mean, I think he got some pop on his shots, just not enough volume, But that's not his style though. But neither guy is the same to me though. I don't think either guy the same. Floyd got a lot to prove. If his footwork ain't on par this next fight, I'm gonna say Manny Pacquiao got the best chance he's ever had of beating Floyd Mayweather.
Who is if you look at the last, let's go back to 2007 when Floyd fought Oscar. Who is the hardest puncher that Floyd has fought since Oscar De La Hoya?
A lot of them. It's a lot of big punches. Canelo, Cotto, a lot of them are big punches.
Okay, now answer me this. Does any of those punchers hit harder than Pacquiao? Or have been known to hit harder than Manny Pacquiao?
Cotto and Canelo.
See, that's the thing. Like, I'm talking about, but they're not known to be hitting harder than Pacquiao, judging off of the people who Pacquiao has put down and hurt. So I always ask fans when it comes to Pacquiao and Mayweather, like can course of 12 rounds, can Manny Pacquiao hit Floyd with 5 clean left hands, just 5 through the course of 12 rounds? Because one thing I use this term.
I don't think 5 would be enough.
No, I'm not saying it would be enough, but what I'm saying is I use this term a lot when I say that Manny Pacquiao left hand fucks you up. I don't care. Everybody I've seen him fight, from Juan Manuel Marquez, how I feel about him. Split his face so like he's spitting out blood. He on his last legs, and not showing like, no, we never fighting him again ever. Period. No way.
I don't think they should. I don't.
Look at Brandon. Look what he did to poor Brandon Rios' face. He had Brandon Rios crying after the fight, after the press conference.
But that's volume, though. If you let Paulie Malignaggi hit you 800 times, well, how many? I think he threw 500 plus punches that fight and landed about 300 of them, maybe. If you let Paulie hit you 300 times, your damn face gonna be messed up. I think it's more volume, and it's a good piece of power, though.
Whatever it is, I'm just trying to say that if you look at the state of the Pacquiao opponents' faces, outside of De La Hoya, because De La Hoya just was on the stool, he just didn't want to, he couldn't go out there. Like he couldn't even rehydrate. But if you look at all the state of everyone's faces outside of Claudia, because he had that kind of defense, and people saying that fight was fixed. But if you look at everyone else, they have problems with that left hand.
Check this out though. Look at the last time he knocked somebody down with one shot. One shot he knocked somebody down with. I'm gonna go back to Cotto I think I'm going back to Cotto when he walked in. Hold on. Am I wrong? Haddon or Cotto? Which one?
No, he did it in the 4th JMM fight.
One shot? Yeah, he did. One shot knocked him down, didn't it? It sure did.
Yeah, in the 4th fight.
Yep.
And let's not forget, he did break Timothy Bradley ankles technically. He didn't break his feet. So it all depends on how you look at it. But if you look at Floyd, the fighter's Floyd fight,
I fucking forgot that.
When was the last time he knocked somebody? And I don't count the Victor Ortiz.
He deserved it though.
Or the cheap shot.
He deserved it though.
It's not really a cheap shot. Well, it is a cheap shot, but see, I don't count it because it wasn't like in the heat of the battle like it was when Ricky Hatton. I still count that as his last knockout, just like Manny Pacquiao. I still count that as like both of their last knockout. To the point where it was off, like it was in the fight, and it was in the heat of the action. You know,
Shane Mosley said, Canelo hit me no harder than Floyd Mayweather hit me. That's Shane Mosley's words. And you know he got a pretty damn good chin, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but well, and see, now that you say that, Shane Mosley said he hasn't been hit as hard as Manny Pacquiao. Well, you know, Pacquiao had it laying like, you know, like laying. Like,
but hey, he told Floyd you need to get him tested after that fight. After he told him that,
he did say that.
Yeah, but I mean, they both got to win and May. Like, come on, this shit got to end. Like, I'm tired of saying I don't blame so and so. I blame so. I don't give a fuck who I blame at this point.
That's over now. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares anymore. It's got to the point where we just so frustrated. We just want to see the fight. You know, I don't give a fuck about nothing. Like before, and I realized even the most hardcore Mayweather fans, they'd be like, "Yo, I just don't care. Like I just want him to fight." You know, people really they just don't care anymore. I think this is the way. Yeah, they just don't care. Let me see if y'all can see this. There you go.
Yeah. Waiting on his bitch.
Yeah. Get out the shower. You don't get stuff like that these days.
Man, this dude look like fucking Trayvon Martin and shit, man. Shit is crazy. What the fuck, man? Smiling and shit.
Let me see if I can find the post-fight press conference for Brooke Porter. I'm gonna try to play it.
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of shit after that fight. It's so much to talk about. Like we got to know who we getting next. Like he got to fight in. I hope he fights again in December. I hope he gets another fight in November, December at least. Was Con Guerrero? That wasn't official yet, was it?
No, it's not. Supposedly it's in deep negotiations. But see, if you think about it now, Khan needs a big fight. Period. I think that Kell Brook winning put Khan in an even tougher situation. Khan's got to fight Thurman. Khan's got to fight. I don't even think Alexander is enough.
I think he gonna get. I think they're gonna do the 80,000 and I think they're gonna do the big UK fight. I just watched the video on another channel, and it was he did a post-fight interview outside the ring, and he said
I'm the champion.
He said the British public been waiting for it. I might as well, you know, he was talking about making the Khan fight happen.
But see, Kell Brook's always been for it. You know, Eddie.
But he's been chasing her for 3 years now.
Yeah,
but he's always wanted to fight. It's been Amir Khan talking that big shit, and now all of a sudden Amir Khan looking like a dickhead. Because you've been clowning now, got the belt you're supposed to have.
I figured he'd say, "No, fuck you, I got the belt." You know what I mean? Like, and he sort of did in the post-fight in the ring. They say some things in the ring, and then when they get to the smaller public, to the smaller press, they get to saying other shit. So it's like, man, I want to see him knock Khan out. Well, that ain't exactly what I want to see, but I think he knows he can knock Khan the fuck out.
See, he's got power. It depends on what kind of fight Khan fight. Because see what it is Khan can fight like to the point where if he fighting on the back foot, it looks like he's running. Like so, if he's running, you know he can win that fight. You know, if he decides to try to show off and tries to stand there in front of Kell Brook, you know, then there's a good chance he's going to get because if the fight happens in the UK, he might be on some shit like, well, in front of my people, I'm gonna show these people he's not. He's a bum because that means. He beat the guy who beat Paulie Malignaggi and Devin Alexander and the guy who beat Shawn Porter. So, in a way, the fight makes so much sense because if Amir Khan beats Kell Brook, and if he feels he can beat Kell Brook, if they have that fight this December, which I doubt it'll be in December, it'll probably be in January, you know, he could get the Mayweather fight in May, but I doubt it. You know, I think Amir Khan's Mayweather chances are gone, to be honest with you.
They need to be. You can't fucking be getting knocked around the ring by people you ain't supposed to be, then running your damn mouth hoping your chin gets stronger from it. Like, you just fought Collazo. He was a fucking AA. He was in AA 3 weeks before the fight, more than likely. And you go in there claiming that that's a big win and that gets you a title shot, he really doesn't even deserve a title shot with Brook. It's just for the fact that the money, I mean, it looked like it'll be lucrative.
Look at his. Okay, all right. Let's look at Amir Khan's fights. Now, you get knocked out by Danny Garcia. You fight and lose to a PD Peterson. You fight a Carlos Molina. You fight a Julio Diaz, and then you fight a Luis Collazo, and you get Mayweather.
Tell him
what is wrong? He's outrageous.
The Julio Diaz performance was terrible.
Yeah, he was getting knocked all over the ring, and people keep saying, "Well, Amir Khan's good." He does have a good skill set, but that chin, and then like that chin is always going to be a question. People are always going to say, well, if he goes up against a hard puncher, like if you think about this, do you think Keith Thurman can beat Amir Khan, and then why?
Because of that chin.
Exactly, he can knock him the fuck out, right?
Yeah, I think he leap in and knock him out. I think this would be the first time. I think this would be the time where I see somebody leap in and knock him out instead of like the Danny Garcia counterpunch. Yeah. He gonna leap in with a left hook or something, and it's gonna be night. Fucking night. He might be sleeping in the corner again.
I think Marcus McDonald would beat Amir Khan. Marcus McDonald would beat Amir Khan. Shawn Porter. See, it's the thing. Like anybody who has punching power, and can connect cleanly. The problem I have with Khan is I see fighters being able to connect cleanly and knock him out.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, his legs never get back together. Like he get hit to the point where his legs they gone, and it takes him some time to get back together.
Keep the shuffle.
You got coming. So if he does go against Guerrero, let's say Amir Khan does go against Guerrero, because right now he does have options. Now before, earlier this week, the talks was Josecito Lopez or Robert Guerrero, or Devin Alexander. So now we got Lopez, Guerrero, Alexander, and then Brook. Now, one of those fights, he's going to get Mayweather in May. So I'm thinking, like, listen, he's got to go for Brook. He's got to get that Brook fight. Josecito Lopez is not going to do it. Because right now it's like, how can you talk about fighting Floyd Mayweather in Wembley, and you're no longer the number 1 fighter in that weight division in the UK? Is because he has a title. He has the title, and it's for credible competition.
Khan's fans are making it worse.
What you say?
Khan fans making it worse on him. I'm sitting there talking to one of them, and they like, he's the best out there. He deserves the Mayweather shot. He came to 147 and knocked Luis Collazo down 3 times. Did you hear the name you just said? Like, you justifying these cherry-picked fights to get a title shot when it's people, like you just said, Brook out here got the damn strap around his waist, and he took it from a man in his backyard, and your boy's sitting out here fighting a guy who got an upset over a nigga with a broke jaw. Come on.
Yeah. And then when they first said Collazo, I'm like, really? So he lost the Mayweather poll. They're gonna put him in there against Collazo, and then think that he's gonna just get Mayweather off Collazo. That showed me right there. They were saving him. They said, we got to be careful. They're like, Amir, we're going to give you this fight. He was on 106 and Park, and he was talking about how he was told he was next for Mayweather, how he was told he was going to get the Mayweather fight, and then now, look at him. Over a year later, he still does not have the fight. Honestly, I think he's not going to get the fight because unless he fights somebody notable, he's not going to have the respect in the fans' eyes. Now, something recent that came up, and I actually do know a little bit of the inside scoop. He said that
Bob Arum.
Yeah, he told his team to approach, Top Rank about a Pacquiao fight.
Didn't get it.
No, but then you have on Bob Arum's side saying that we heard quote unquote nothing good back from their side. But if you know of everything that's going on, Amir Khan is an Al Heyman fighter. Like I want fans to stop letting these fighters, not the promoters, these fighters fool you. You know, when they say, well, I called him out, I challenged him. You know, like, no. Like, because now you got a guy like Danny Garcia who's pissed off to when we said, like, look, I don't pick my fights. Al Heyman picks my fights. I don't do it, you know, because he was getting so much heat.
Yeah, I think
it's still cherries all over the place.
What about Hopkins? I'm fucking confused. Hopkins was blasting Heyman. Now he was with Heyman. I'm confused on that. He's going to HBO to fight, not a top ranked guy, but an HBO guy. Is he with Heyman right now?
Bernard Hopkins, if I'm correct, owns like 5% or less, if I'm sure, of Golden Boy Promotions. His best interest is to make sure Golden Boy Promotions keeps generating money. You know, if you notice that Bernard is fighting on HBO, fighting Kovalev, but then main event, Kathy Dover drops the lawsuit against Al Heyman and Stevenson. So looking at that deeply, I'm thinking that it was some type of trade-off that happened to where then there was like, okay, well, since you're not going to fight Stevenson, then, you know, send B-Hop over, and B-Hop always wanted to fight Kovalev anyway. And then Dover probably was like, okay, we good. You know, after that, you know, that's it, we good. You know, but that's the only way I can see it happening, because Hopkins just ends up on HBO where no other boxers can do. And one thing you got to give Hopkins respect for is he's been talking about it. He was talking about it in the Carol Murat fight. He was talking about it in the Shumanov fight. He was talking about it in Tavoris Cloud fight, about how he wanted. In fact, he's the first person I heard say Cold War. He's the first person I ever heard, you know, like use the term Cold War. So to see him pop up on HBO showed how powerful he is, to the point where he say, "Fuck all this bullshit." You know, I want one of the belts. It's either going to be Stevenson. If it's not Stevenson, I'm going over and I'm going to get Kovalev, because realistically, think about it. The man's almost 50 years old. He's around to be a unified champion, is he not? So what? He's not going to let, like, if he has the power to, a 50-year-old shareholder in a major, in the #1, you know, right now, boxing promotional company in the world, you know, he's not trying to hear none of that shit. He won his belt before he retired. You know, it's a shame that people saying he's going to get beat half to death. You know, but you know, to each his own. I just don't want to hear at the end, if he loses, I got B-Hop winning. But if he loses, I don't want people to discredit Sergey Kovalev's win, talking about Bernard Hopkins was old, and you know he beat up on an old man and all that bullshit. That's what I don't want. You know, I want to make sure.
But if he get beat by a 50-year-old, that damn HBO hype train shit got to go. Like, all this hype they get, like, come on now. A 50-year-old is not supposed to be beating you. If that happens, it's so much easier if Hopkins loses. He is old. Like, that is a built-in excuse. He's old as fuck.
Yeah.
But come on. I mean, I'm not gonna make a prediction without saying shit like, look at the age. Like, nobody's gonna make that prediction. So that is a built-in excuse. But if he gets in the ring, he gets in the ring. But I think I got Hopkins too, though. But if he does lose, I am gonna say, you know, he is old as shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, people are gonna say that regardless. They're gonna say that he beat up an old man, and you know Hopkins was washed up, you know, and Hopkins should have been, you know, retired all those years ago. Yes. But still, you have to think that, well, he did beat a legend. You always be able to say that, but it will always hang over his career that you beat a 50-year-old man. So anyone who loses to Hopkins, it's either you beat a 50-year-old man or you lost to a 50-year-old man. Bet Shumanov lost to a man who was almost 50 years old. Tavoris Cloud will always be known to have lost to someone who's almost 50 years old. Those are stories they're going to have to tell their kids, their grandkids, you know, and those people are not going to care or understand who B-Hop was like we do. They're gonna say, "Damn, you lost to that old ass man, and he was 27." You know, so the same thing for Kovalev. What I'm gonna do with Kovalev is I'm gonna put Kovalev into a box. He's good, but once he beats B-Hop, you know, then they still have to go after Stevenson. But something is wrong with Adonis Stevenson. I think it's got to a point where they know something, you know, because it's a Jean Pascal fight on the table for him.
He gotta take that fight. Damn, he gotta take that fight.
It's a Jean Pascal fight on the table for him, but and that's a fight that can be made because no politics involved. But I don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, it's
You know,
crazy.
something is going on with him, and I just don't know what it is. Like I don't know if they're saving him for something, or if he's got some injury.
He's
or
trying to
maybe,
fight He's trying to fight Campillo.
Yeah, but that's not going. Well, I mean, I can see that happening actually. You know, that probably will happen.
But nobody wants that. Like that's fucking ridiculous.
In a way, I wanted that lawsuit to keep going. I ain't gonna lie, because you know it's about time that somebody got sick of Al Heyman's bullshit. But see, one thing you hear, if you haven't heard that, nobody tells Al Heyman no. And he always, this is a clear-cut example that he always gets what he wants. Just a lawsuit, just stop, go away, just like that. You know, you want to be suing me? And it's just a lawsuit that goes away. Like, you know, it's like there's got to be respected and there's got to be admired that he does, you know, that he handles business. You know, they say that, for one, he takes a smaller percentage than average manager does. I forgot what the exact number was. He tells his fighters everything they want to hear, and of course, you can see that because they're all happy. You never hear of no angry or disgruntled Al Heyman fighters except for Robert Guerrero, and then they gave him $1 million to fight Yoshihiro Kamaga. But when you look at like what's there, like as far as like all their fighters in a whole, none of them are never unhappy. You know, they all, if you look at their paydays, they're all getting paid to some certain extent. You know, except for Chad Dawson fought George Blades and got like $15,000, while George Blades got a larger amount of money. I forgot. I think it was like $25,000 or something. I don't know the exact numbers, but the point I'm trying to make is it looked fishy because Chad Dawson was fat. You know, he got paid less money for the extremely how can I put it? Somebody he shouldn't have been in a ring with. So you knock him out, it looked like, well, wait a minute, he got paid to take the fall because he got paid more money than you. Why are you only getting paid this certain small amount of money? You know, it's just certain stuff that just don't make sense. You know, even if you look at the card tonight, Sakio Beacon, he supposedly got $700,000, whereas the Shawn Porter's getting $500,000. Now, when I look at stuff like that, I think like, well, where'd the rest of that money go? Are you getting that because Golden Boy had to do something or advances, and this is what's left that you know, like stuff like that. Like when I look at Diego Chavez, how Brandon Rios got damn near $1 million. Diego Chavez got like what, like 50,000, 25,000, or some old crazy shit like that. People say, damn, why is he getting robbed? But you have to look at, well, he did have that big immigration thing. You know, how much did that cost? You know, to get him over there just so they couldn't, just so they didn't have to cancel an event. Because canceling an event, that's so much money lost right there. You know, so what I'm going to do is let me play this interview real quick. They gotta go. I'm gonna eat some of this cereal. I want y'all to hear this because this guy, this Shawn Porter guy with these steroids, man, I tell you. And I'm not saying he's on steroids, so I'm gonna clear that shit right up. You know, but listen to this interview. I'm putting the links to all the interviews down below. Okay.
Carson with Kenny Burger, fighting trainer with Shawn Porter.
Oh, my bad.
Had a continuation of what we did from the last fight, which was a continuation of what we did from the previous fight. He does not shut down. He's 365 days out of the year. He's constantly just working. Just like if you had a job, you only get 1 week off of vacation, Shawn's only going to get that at the end of the year. So we just, you know, continue with what we've done from each fight, but he's had an outstanding 2 years. Not an outstanding camp, an outstanding 2 years.
His last two performances in Alexander and Naranj have been exceptional. You're showing one of these fighters, the better the fighter is, the better he is going to win.
Of course he is. The better he is, the better he's going to perform. But he's also brought into what I'm selling is this is your lifestyle year round. You don't just train and get ready for a fight, or you don't just go on a diet and get ready to lose weight. You live this way year round. As long as you're a professional athlete, professional boxer, I want you to be the consummate professional athlete, consummate professional boxer, and this is his lifestyle year round. So after the Kell Brook fight, no matter what the decision is, however it goes,
you know, in a few days after that, he has to go back to work, just like everyone else has to go back to work on Monday. He will go back to work.
Sean Kell just said to me that before Kell Brook was announced as his mandatory opponent, that he didn't know anything about Kell Brook. What did you know about Kell Brook? Did you know anything about him before he was made mandatory for Shawn?
No, didn't know much about him at all. I mean, I glanced here and there. I saw the name quite a few times. No doubt, I knew who he was, but I had never watched any of his fights. And since then, we have actually said he was a very good fighter, big, strong, fast, undefeated, got a lot of knockouts, and we're looking forward to it.
Kell Brook's very good for a welterweight. Are we going to expect Shawn Porter to approach it kind of like what he did with Malignaggi, or not?
We're going to take what he gives, and what he's not willing to give us, we're going to take that from him as well. You know, we can use quickness, we can use strength, we can use aggression, we can counter punch. He's got a lot of things, a lot of tools in his tool bag, you know. And so we have all those at our disposal, and Kell will have to deal with all of that night.
Just finally, Kenny, there's been a lot of confusing stories regarding the random drug testing. Everyone's saying that, you know, he asked for it, you said that you asked for it.
Yes.
Was that just the case that you both asked for random drug testing?
It could have been a case that we both said, I initiated. I asked for it through Al Heyman, who is our advisor, when they first told us this fight was coming. I asked for it the last fight for Paulie Malignaggi. I also asked for it for the Devin Alexander fight. So this is something that we initiate from Team Porter from day one. This fight, the next fight, every fight, we want this. You know, this is what we want to do. Shawn was a member of Team USA Boxing since he was 15 years old. He was a member of USADA from 15, 16 years of age until he was 20 years old. So we've always been, you know, this is what we've always done. We have no problem with it. You know, I asked for it. I don't know why Mr. Hardy says he did, but I asked for it, and we got it, so we move forward.
And then you've been satisfied with the
now, it's just, see, what I'm trying to say is that you got Eddie Hearn, and then you got Kell Brook in different interviews saying that they asked for drug testing first. Then you got Father always on the defensive, you know, saying that he asked for drug testing. None of it makes sense. You know, and the only thing we can do right now is wait for the drug test to come back, which is most likely going to come back negative anyway. You know, fighters who are on something, if they are or not, you know, fighters don't
see if they fight the next test.
Like that. What?
And we got to see if they gonna ask for testing the next fight. You know, the reporters got to ask the right questions going into the fight so the public can get the answers. You know, like you had speculation in your last fight about drug testing. Will you be testing this fight? You know, they got to ask shit like that, and they normally don't get the right answers out of these people. But that's, you know, I think they're gonna be negative too. But he probably did do something like you said and cycled off. But that shit can't happen again no more. Like that shit, like if you have another one of those, oh yeah, this happened, that happened, we need excuse. Yeah, that shit can't happen no more.
Yes, you know, black y'all keep getting involved in that shit. Whereas in it's like make sure the drug test is just at the beginning. Make sure everybody knows what's going on, so it's just no bullshit. You know, Marquez, that's a whole different story. That man for the Alvarado fight didn't test. There was no post-fight press conference. I don't know when does that ever happen. You'll have the post-fight press conference when the fighter won't be there because he's in the hospital or something. But there was no post-fight press conference. He ain't getting no shower, no nothing. He put his shit on and just left the arena. And that's serious. And he put his shit on and just left the arena. You know, stuff like that is extremely suspect. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. did that before. You know, after the fight, they went to go get some piss and blood, and he was gone. No shower, no nothing. You know, he still end up failing a test later on anyway. You know, these drugs in boxing, it's gotten to a point where you hear people talk about Olympic-style drug testing. You know, you say, okay, well, I know that Olympic-style drug testing is not really Olympic-style drug testing. You know, it's just that people listen to Floyd name it that. You know, but when you look at the 24-hour 365 testing, Who is that pretty much conducted by? That is actually that was actually what? That's influenced by the guy who's supposed to be the king of steroids. You know, so the whole steroid thing, honestly, I'm sick of the whole steroid thing because when it comes to the boxers, they can say they know or they don't know. In some way, shape, or form, one of them or they all use something they weren't supposed to use before. And at this point in time right now, it's hard not to say that no one's not on something. You know, because when it comes to a drug test, you never hear fighters just say, oh, yeah, well, test me right now. I'll test every day, all day, every day. You know, I just don't see it like baseball players. When baseball players are on the road all the time, I'm talking about a couple hundred days a year.
You hear the commentators tonight say how the UK commission is set up. They can come to your house at any time they want. And the IBF, the WBA, WBO, WBC. I think everybody in that top 15 of those rankings need to be tested before. They need to be tested anytime if they in those rankings. But they not gonna come together. They don't give a shit about nothing but money here. They can give a fuck. I agree with what Hearn said. If you get caught on PEDs in the ring, you should be put in jail because it's a damn hurt sport, and you are pretty much bringing a loaded pistol to the fucking ring if you clock a man the right way. I agree with him.
Because
I agree with him.
You know, but I mean, it all boils down to it's like, you know, okay, well, you couldn't get there naturally. You had to use a chemical, you know, to get you there, and your body's working in overdrive. To whereas I'm training every day, you know, hard while you getting the unfair advantage, especially Amir Khan when it came to Lamont Peterson on steroids. He was saying, like, I'd never seen or nobody come at me like that before. He just kept coming. You know, that fight where it was that ref with the mohawk and he kept pushing and all that. You know, and that's what steroids or PEDs does to you. They give you extra adrenaline. You know, you don't feel pain as much. Or, you know, when you're working out, you get that extra push you need, you know, to make sure you get hard workouts. Like, that's what wrestlers do.
I was reading Peterson the other day. It wasn't very sure that he was on it the first fight though, right?
No, he was suspended. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't fail the post fight. He didn't fail that post fight test. He failed the fight. He failed the fight prior to the rematch.
Yeah, if I'm correct. Yeah. If I'm correct, yeah, he failed. I remember I did the video.
So it's just speculation that he was possibly just like it's speculation with Margarito gloves when they said, oh, he had loaded gloves so and so he did that fight, but no one really proved that he was on it the first fight. We just look and say you probably were because you got caught at the end of the day.
And then also just like Margarito, once the gloves were gone, he started getting beat up. Look at Lamont Peterson. Once the gloves were gone, what happened? He goes and meets.
Fuck yeah, good point. But Matisse beats a lot of motherfuckers up though. If he connect with you, gonna have a problem.
Yeah, but even if you look at Lamont Peterson now, when he fought Kendall Holt, you know he wasn't sharp, even though it was coming off a layoff. His last fight with Edgar Santana, you know, it wasn't, you know, like as dominant as he should.
I like the I can't say the name, the John fight. I can't say the Derry. I think that's it, Derry John. I like that fight. I like this performance somewhat. But and I liked what he did with Sosa as well. I'm just ready to see him and Garcia get it on. That need to be at 140, not no 142 type shit. Like,
well, I look at it like this. That's what they're gonna try to do to keep one of them to keep their belts. Yeah. But see, that's a situation where you got Lamont Peterson with the IBF, you got Danny Garcia with the WBA and the WBC, and then you got Algeria over there with the WBO. Adrian Broner's fighting at 140 pounds. He clearly wants a belt. Lucas Matisse is fighting at 140 pounds. He needs a belt. Like the Al Heyman fighters are somewhat getting backed into a corner because they're going to have to start fighting each other soon.
Check this out. You got 3 140 champions, and okay, if Peterson and Danny get down in November or December, that means it's only 3 WBC champions. That means 2 WBC champions will be coming off losses because none of them are fighting at 140, and all of them will still have their belts. That's some fucked up shit going on in that division. Like Algeria can't lose his belt. if they fight at 142, nobody can look. The 140 titles won't get defended all year, pretty much. All winter, it won't be defended. That's bullshit.
Well, Floyd, that's just like Floyd. For this fight, he's defending both 147 WBC and 154-pound titles. Because,
but more importantly, they all will be coming off losses though. Like two champions, and they're gonna be holding belts coming off losses. That's some bullshit. I see what you're saying about Floyd though. I just don't think he wants to fight at 154 no more. But he don't want to get those titles up. Look who he would have to fight if he really went there. Andrade is fucking 6'1".
There's no easy pickings for him there.
I mean, I wouldn't tell any welterweight to go fight Lara or Andrade, but at the end of the day, that's who the guys he would be having to fight. When you move up in weight, my thought is you need to be, Floyd can't make 154. Let's get that right. And I'm pretty sure he don't want to be doing catch weights because the backlash that come with that. And at the same time, if you going up there and weight with those bigger guys with the similar skill sets, you don't do that. You go up and weight to fight people who have power, but you have the speed advantage, right? So he's not going to be going up there fighting no damn Trout. I
don't see him fighting. I don't see him fighting no Cotto either. People keep saying Cotto at 160. I don't see him.
I think he'll do it.
I don't see him weighing over. What it's going to be at a catch weight of 155. It's got to be. It ain't gonna be no. It'll be probably 156 or something like that. And Floyd is going to weigh in what at 151. He's not going to weigh in at 154.
Cotto can't complain. Nobody can complain for Cotto if it's a catch weight of 155 because what did Cotto weigh for Sergio Martinez?
Yeah, 155.
155.
And he weighed 155 with Mayweather. It was only 1 pound, but still. What I'm saying is, I don't think Mayweather would give him that extra advantage of having just that 1 extra pound.
He fought him at 154 and 154, 155. I think he'll do it. But you know what I much rather see though? I'd rather see him unify the welterweight titles. But I hope he could do that and get I hope Pacquiao could maybe get a winner of Pacquiao Algieri, because I think that's a pretty good fight. I still think it's a cherry pick because it should have been Amir Khan because he had nobody else, but that's a different subject. I hope the winner of Pacquiao Algieri gets possibly Manny Pacquiao. I mean Kell Brook, excuse me, in early 2015, and then Mayweather can get Cotto and win a 160 title, and then unify the 147 title with who comes out that little tournament I just put together. That shit'll be amazing. I mean, if he wants, nobody's fucking with his legacy, he need to do that. You know what I'm saying? He need to do that shit. But it would have to depend on, I would have to depend on the other two champions unifying. And with the pussies we got running around this sport today, that shit might not happen unless you talking about Bernard Hopkins or somebody, because nobody else doing it. Look at 140. Nobody wants to fight each other. Look at fucking Leo Santa Cruz. Don't want to fight Rigo. Yeah, nobody wants to unify.
Got quick. He probably going to turn down Carl Frampton. But like I said, it's not these guys. It's like this manager. I'm trying to figure out what his plan is. When I look at the matches Al Heyman's making, I'm trying to figure out what his plan is. I'm trying to figure out.
There's no faith in the fighter.
Is there something that he's got cooking for next year? Is there something that he's got cooking for 2015? Sam Watson said recently in an interview that 2015 is going to be the biggest year in boxing, but every promoter or anybody in boxing is saying the year before is going to be, or the next year is going to be the biggest year in boxing.
Absolutely.
So when I look at these matches that's being made, I'm thinking, why is all these boxers being stayed? Is it going to be some crazy tournament that's going to happen next year? Canceling people out? I don't know, because how long? He got too many boxers to keep them away from each other. And what I'm noticing, and you notice, he signs what I've been calling the top tier guys and then the lower tier guys. The top tier guys don't fight each other, but they all fight the lower tier guys. Yep. The guys like the Joselito Lopez's and the John Molinas. Those are the people that he signs up just to get beat up on by the other guys.
You know what tournament is about to go on? It's going to be fans versus their money. And if we don't, this is a tournament. Fans versus their money. When they keep putting these bullshit fights on, the tournament is us not watching or watching. And if those ratings stay at, look, Danny Garcia, 800K average ratings for Rod Soccer, if those ratings stay like that and these people still getting good money, they don't give a shit what we complaining about. It's gonna be the fans versus. That's the biggest tournament of the year. Sam Watson pretty much is a towel holder. He's a towel holder. Get you this, get you that guy, and he's supposed to say the right things, in my opinion. So until we really get for real about this shit, like I'm guilty. I watch Soccer Garcia. I'm fucking guilty. But until we get for real about it, ain't shit happening in this sport. Ain't shit happening.
True.
Easy fights, big money.
As long as people keep allowing themselves to be manipulated and allowing the boxing promoters to tell them anything and they believe it, then that's what it's going to be. But the first thing fans once again have to understand is these fans don't pick their fights. Now we can be mad and say they need to stand up and say I don't want to fight this person. Like Danny Garcia could have said no, I'm not fighting no Rod Soccer. Yeah. He could have said I'm not fighting Rod Soccer. Fans going to slaughter me. It wasn't until the end. And you know what? It's crazy. Funny story. But fuck it, I'll tell it. Me and Don, when I used to work with Enter the Arena, me and Don went to the Danny Garcia gym. And the only reason why he turned me down is because I did a video saying that I wasn't gonna suck no dick to get into the gym, that when I said that Herrera won, it came off the wrong way. But what I'm trying to say is, they saw my video and they understood, like, basically if we let this guy around, he gonna go back to tell all them people, what he's seeing. I don't know. It was a weird situation, but when it came to like the weigh-in and and the things like that Rod Soccer fight, I really was on some like I'm going to support the shit out this fight. Not only because he's from Philly, but also I did want to believe that a guy like Rod Soccer should get a chance every now and then. Because like I said, I looked at Danny Garcia's record. I looked at the fact that he fought Amir Khan, Zab Judah, Eric Morales twice, Mauricio Herrera, Luz Matisse, and people really thought that Mauricio Herrera was, as they say, a bum. People thought they were saying Herrera was going to get knocked out. I got videos all on this when I did, and I say, listen, Herrera is no joke. Herrera was the only man to legitimately, before Chris Algieri, beat Provodnikov.
But at the same time, people didn't like the name of that fight. Like they wanted the bigger unification bouts. Right? Like I would consider this his second cherry pick in a row. He's not a big time cherry pick.
It made it worse because they put the motherfuckers on the same card. That's what made it bad.
But I feel like what's his name? Damn, I lost my train of thought. Herrera. I felt like he was a bit of cherry pick, and then they took him over there to Puerto Rico to throw him off and shit. That was his second time you can legitimately say that that's not a guy we wanted to see you fighting. So that's why it got bad on him. And then not to mention, he's fighting the 77th ranked guy. Like, man, that shit can't fly. Like, I heard another guy mention the biggest interest we having in these fights is that the underdog can do it. And he's like, I'm sick of that shit. And I'm like, I am too. I agree with this. Like, but then we got, let's not give it all to Garcia right here with this cherry picking. Garcia fought the 77th ranked guy, and I'm hearing Santa Cruz is fighting the 93rd ranked guy. Yeah, this motherfucker fighting a nigga with Dennis Rodman. Rodman was 91, wasn't he?
Yeah, what the fuck? Like I said, I feel like Al Heyman and his fighters are getting back into a corner because his matchmaking style. Whoever making these fights with him, they're becoming predictable. Because, when you hear these people on the same cards, in the same divisions, you automatically know in your head not to get your hopes up. You automatically know, like, oh yeah, he probably not going to fight him. I already know better. So here's an example. We don't know yet for sure, but you got Adrian Broner versus Emmanuel Taylor. That's at 140 pounds. But I want to say I'm going to 100% guarantee you that Lucas Matisse is not going to fight at 140. It's going to be something at like 141 or 142, just so they can say that they're not in the same weight class on the same card. That's the type of stuff I see. You can start predicting stuff like that. You know, Andre Berto. You know, Andre Berto fights in 2 weeks. You know, we don't even know who's he fighting. You know, we don't know who he's fighting. You know, we don't know who. We don't even know what kind of name he's fighting. You know, but we know it's going to be somebody that he's got to look good against. You know, we know it's going to be somebody that we don't want him to see.
Hey, this might be a long shot, but when they put the camera on him, it sounded like he said, "I'm pulling out." Like I'm, you know, I was looking hard, and I don't remember exactly what I thought he said, but he was doing like some shadow boxing in his seat, and he sounded like, "I won't be at that shit." I was like, "What? What'd he say?" I mean, maybe y'all can catch that. Maybe, well, you know, they probably won't show that shit. I don't remember what fight that he got presented in, but if it was during the championship fight, you can find it and see if you could catch what he said. But it sounded like, "I won't be at that shit." Like, I was like, damn, like for real. But he was still shadow boxing and shit. But that's a long shot though.
I mean, you don't have no opponent. I just don't see like how long this thing is gonna last with these Al Heyman fighters.
Matter of fact, it was the WBC title fight with Sakio and Darrell. That was the fight they showed him.
How that's going to last? And then if you look at the WBC. The WBC is the most prestigious boxing organization in the world. And then if you look at how like these guys are just getting titles. For example, Omar Figueroa. What has he really done? 135-pound WBC titleist. Look at Leo Santa Cruz. You know. Look at him. What was that? 118-pound title holder. Look at Deontay Wilder. Look what he's done, and all of a sudden he's the #1 contender for the WBC title. You know, look at Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor's getting a title shot at 160 pounds with Sam Stomach.
Yeah, that's a mess.
What is going on? You know, even if you look at Anthony Darrell is good, but he really only got notability just about a year ago off of his brother's name. Look at his resume. There's nothing there. Look at his resume. That's not even barely any fights that were televised. You know,
I think they just got a good champion though. I think he's gonna be a pretty damn good champion.
You know, he's good. He's gonna be damn good. But what I'm saying is that WBC and those Al Heyman fighters, you know, you got WBC is running basically. I mean, Al Heyman is running the WBC with his fighters. So whereas in majority of the WBO fighters are with HBO.
Hell yeah. Yep.
You know, so. Like it's a weird situation, and one thing I hope changes in the future, which I doubt, is that there needs to be one boxing organization. You know,
one network. Like,
you know, there needs to be one, and okay, even if it's not one boxing network or organization, they need to all work together, like with one goal. Period. You know, and when it comes to those belts, they need to order. Like purse bids and all that stuff in like a reasonable amount of time. You know, they need to, like purse bids need to become like I'm going to say every 6 months. You know, it's like if you don't make this fight with this person within like these next 60 days, you know, and then you know you got another 3 to 4 months to train and get the fight on, you know, then you can strict. You know, look at Andre Ward. Look at poor Andre Ward. How long before he gets stripped? You know, he got the WBA title. That 168 title that Anthony Darrell got, that was Andre Ward's at one point in time.
It was weird. It was weird that Ward and Kessler come out with this so-and-so we're going to fight in December shit, and then like 2 days later the $10 million against him article drops. I'm like, damn, like.
I never believed that rumor anyway. I'm like, how is he going to fight him on Mikkel Kessler? And then Miguel Kessler's promotional company is called Sutherland Promotions. Same promotional company that promotes a guy by the name of George. But how can he fight? How is he going to fight Mikkel Kessler when he got beef with his promoter? And then 2 days later, it was like you said, comes out and says he's being sued for $10 million. But he don't got no $10 million.
No.
You know, Dan Goosen just did that to say "fuck you," like, you know, and what makes it bad, what makes it look bad to the fans is that the articles we read and the news we get on the situation, each time Andre Ward took Dan Goosen to court, Andre Ward lost in court. So he took Dan Goosen to court twice. He lost both times. So now you're going back at it again. You're trying to get him for the Muhammad Ali Act. You know, like I'm just. You know, it just makes no sense. So now, either way, Goosen wins because why? He still got Andre Ward under contract, and also it's that process of going to court is going to take a long time.
He'll always be pound for pound in my head. I can say that much. But officially, he gonna leave that motherfucker. He's gone pretty soon.
He's gonna be the ghost of the 168-pound division. They're gonna take that belt, even though he's not gonna be active. We all know he's gonna be the #1 guy there. Yeah. But still, you know, he needs to just fade away. I'm trying to get this interview on. He needs to just fade away because it's getting to a point like, well, fans are just sick of him. You know, fans are sick of him, and they're sick of him, you know, for a good reason because we want to see him fight.
I don't see how I've stuck out this long being a boxing fan. We don't get what we want. It's like the NBA and NFL, they had their little lockouts, but that shit was on right after that. You know, then it's like we just continuously. I'm thinking about Figueroa moving up to 140. When he gets up there, is he gonna fight a Broner? Or is Broner gonna say I don't want that fight either, like he did with Matisse? You know what I mean? Like, does he want that kind of pressure on him? I'm looking at these fights. I'm looking
slaughtered.
What'd you say?
I think Figueroa gets slaughtered at 140.
By Broner?
No, but maybe by Broner. Yeah. He don't. There's something like that defense. He gets hit way too much.
If Broner don't got the power at 140. That boy gonna keep coming. It's gonna be a hell of a fight because it's gonna be Broner can fight inside good as hell, and what he did to DeMarco made me a believer of him on the inside.
Anybody with pressure? Hold on. I'm gonna play this interview real quick. See if we can play this interview.
Man, but at the same time, I'm gonna stand for what's right, and you know, there's a lot of things.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know if the story has really been told yet, so can we kind of touch on some of the things that...
Yeah, I think, and as a disclaimer, like...
Oh, man, fuck with my interview. Hold on.
You know, I don't really have anything personal against Goose. This isn't a personal fight or a personal vendetta or anything like that. I don't, you know, wish anybody any harm or anything. But at the same time, I'm gonna stand for what's right. And you know, there's a lot of things. There's multiple things that are big issues in this dispute. Legal issues, moral issues, things that are just not right. But the root of the issue, and I think it's something that people overlook, is, you know, Dan Goosen has never been my sole promoter. In the history of my career, it was Goosen Tudor, Antonio Leonard, who's a friend of mine, who's also my co-promoter. We bought Square Ring out, my first contract ran out, and I re-upped with Goosen and Antonio. They both put up half the signing bonus. And for some reason, all of a sudden, you know, Dan wants to walk away and not pay this guy, and I can't, in good conscience, walk away with this man's money like that. I can't do it. I still talk to this man. I see this man, and for example, with the Rodriguez fight, like he didn't pay this man. So they have a lawsuit in federal and state court going on. So once we started dealing with that, we started pulling back the layers, and we started seeing a whole bunch of other things that weren't right legally, and statutes and things that were broken, and laws that weren't upheld. But that's the root of the issue, is that, you know, there's a man who is being done wrong, and I'm in the middle of it, and I'm not okay with that. And I've expressed that behind closed doors. And you know, the other point that I want to make is you know, there's you know, a narrative out there, a story that you know, I'm holding out and I don't want to fight. You know, my fans got to understand, I want to be in the ring more than anybody could want me to be in the ring. Like, being here tonight, you don't understand how I feel not being able to be in that ring and know that I got something on the books. But it's not my fault. I fought in November. I've been ready to fight physically since December. My lawsuit, I think, was filed in December, and shortly after that, my side sent an email to Dan saying, hey, man, you ready to play ball? We want to continue to do business. He agreed, and he's been unable to produce a fight. Not one offer has been made, not one, to fight since December. So I just want to clear that up. You know, the stories out there that are you know, that are out there about, you know, me holding out or me turning down fights, it's not true. It's just simply not true. So
And again, like I said, I don't know how much you can talk about it, but just based off of what you just said now and the press release that you sent out, I think it was last week or something like that, even though you're going through the lawsuit, you're still willing to work with him and basically he's got a contract with him. Exactly. So you're willing to honor the contract in order to not just get yourself in the ring, but to appease him. Make him money too. Yeah. So, I mean, is he honoring that contract? Is he trying to get you fights?
Yeah, there hasn't been a fight offered since December, like I said, not one. There was an attempt to dig up Kessler in the beginning for a fight and didn't want. My manager said, make us an offer. Then came back and said, the offer's not satisfactory. I can't offer you this. He said, I'm going to pursue the fight in America. So, okay, make us an offer. We wait. We want to fight. Let us know. I guess he felt like the network didn't offer what he thought was, the fight was worth. He said, there's not enough money. I can't do it. I'm going to look elsewhere. And emails were going back and forth. They waited, made us an offer. Nothing. Not one time. A couple months ago, 4 names were brought up. Sakio Bika, Anthony Durrell, Eddie Gadal, and the Russian, I can't pronounce the name, the WBA. And none of those fights are steps forward. All those fights are steps backwards. But we still said make us an offer. Not one offer has been made for either one of those fights. So we've done all we can do. We're gonna continue. My manager, my lawyers, they're reaching out. They're saying, man, we're ready, we're willing, and I don't know how many different ways we can say it, how many different times we gotta say it. I'm in shape. I've been working out. I've been staying fit, and I just want the fans to know that everything you read isn't true. Perception is not reality, and it's tough to write an article or have a polarizing opinion about a subject if you don't have the intimate details of the situation. You can't have an off-the-record conversation and then write an article about it. You can't have one side of the story and write an article about it. You got to kind of have at least most of what's going on to be able to accurately write something. So I just want the fans to know that everything you read isn't true. Some of the things you read is true. It is true. A lot of stuff you read is not true right now. And I just want to take the time to clear this up.
So realistically, I mean, obviously, you don't know how things are going to turn out with all the legal procedures you have to go.
And that's enough of that. See, it's depressing, ain't it? It's depressing when you hear that he's saying that he got offers. The names he said, Sakio Bika, Anthony Durrell, who both fought tonight. Kell Kessler, which was a name that came up. That interview was back in May, by the way. I also put that link right below. What you see is Andre Ward saying that he wants fights, but you got 2 lawsuits with your promoter at that point in time. Both of them you lost. You got another one because this is what he did. He filed a criminal investigation against his promoter Dan Goosen. Having him investigated for doing what is it? Violating the Muhammad Ali Act, which basically says a whole bunch of stuff about how you can't be a promoter and a manager, and how you can't it's only a certain amount of interaction you can do with the fighter if you're a promoter. But Andre Ward's current contract is up in 2016, the end of 2016. So from now to the end of 2016, it's not even the end of 2014. You got over a year where we don't even know if Andre Ward's going to be fighting. And the reason why I say that over a year is because this situation has gotten to a point where them two can't sit down, obviously. If somebody's suing somebody for $10 million and you don't have $10 million, there's no sitting down to talk about nothing. So there's no negotiations that can be done in any way, shape, or form. So the next thing to worry about is, well, when is going to be the court date? And are they going to settle? Is anybody going to buy Andre Ward out? You know what I mean? At this point in time, it looks like he's done. At this point in time, it looks like you can snatch him off your pound for pound. It looks like at this point in time, you can say, basically, you say Carl Frost is the #1 168 pounder, because the way I look at it, you got the top 10 fighters, and then you got those guys that are above the top 10. You know, guys like Floyd Mayweather and all that. But then when it comes to Andre Ward, it's just an empty blank. You know, it's just blank. You know, Anthony Durrell, from what he showed us tonight, is the future of the 168-pound division. You know, well, one of the futures of the 168-pound division. And, you know, it's a shame that when you talk about guys like him, James DeGale, George Groves, you know, you can't even mention Andre Ward.
You got Darrell Groves. Darrell Groves is supposed to happen, at least from Groves' mouth.
What you say?
They talking about Groves Darrell. Well, Groves is saying he wanted the winner.
No, Groves is this is recent news. Groves is fighting the winner of Anthony Durrell.
Yeah.
Anthony Durrell.
That's what he said he wanted.
Yeah, so he's going after him, you know, in a fight where I don't know, see,
he can't go to the UK because look what already happened in the UK with the other Darrell.
He not going to the UK. George Groves wants to fight over here.
Can't fucking happen.
George Groves is a very smart businessman, you know, for him to be so young. But I don't know who will win that fight. George Groves got answers, you know, he's got questions to answer about that chin and about if he slows down later on in the fight. You know, so
he hurt Beaker. Beaker got a good chin. If he can hurt Beaker, he can fuck Groves up.
Exactly. So that's the thing about Groves. Groves has some skills. Groves' right hand is crazy. He's a very accurate puncher. But see, as the fight goes on, he slows down, he loses accuracy, and then what we see, you know, he got stopped once by Froch, and it looked like he was going to get stopped if it wasn't controversially stopped. And then this last time in May, Froch just clean cut, put him to sleep. So, you know, there's no arguing that. But I'm thinking, well, how is he going to react psychologically to getting hit? Like, if you look at Pacquiao, last 2 fights since Marquez, you know, he seems like he's a little timid when he gets hit. It doesn't seem like he's comfortable or as cool as getting hit, like when Timothy Bradley hit the shit out of him in the second fight, you know, and almost knocked him, you know, out of his feet. Timothy Bradley only has 12 KOs, by the way.
Knocked him off the ground. Chris Algieri said he's going to bring his power to 144, and people don't know it.
Oh, no, see, that's the thing. Chris Algieri only got 8 knockouts. The last person to have less than 8 knockouts was, if I'm correct, well over 10 years ago.
Well, let's be real though. That jab snapped the neck of Provo a lot of times, and Provo got a fucking wall under his mouth.
Provo didn't throw punches once he got on the inside. Provo the call just walking toward him.
Not about his style. Not about his style. I'm talking about how he snapped his head back from time to time.
Oh yeah, the jab is there, but the punch volume. Chris Algieri is tall. You know, he's going to be one of the tallest fighters Pacquiao has fought. You know, but the punch output, you know, how is he going to hurt Manny? I don't see it. You know, in order to stop Manny coming at you, you got to hurt him.
If he wouldn't throw as many as punches, he would be considered a runner. But Chris lets his hands go. That's what I like about him. Like I tell people, he's my great white Apollo Creed. That's what he is, in my opinion. That's how he fights. He get on his bike, he pump his jab. And I think he got a good shot, but I also think Manny got a shot to come out and just swarm him and show him something he never seen. And of course I'm leaning toward Manny because he's fucking legend, even though I see these advantages that Chris has.
Chris ain't ready for that.
That's what I want to think. That's what I want to think.
I mean, he beat Provodnikov, but before that he beat Emmanuel Taylor, and then before that there's nothing there.
But let's look at this too. When he was fighting with one eye, like some people can learn something from 6 rounds to the 12th. They could learn 30 years ahead of what the next man learned. With one eye, this man adjusted and got better as the fight went on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know it's just Provodnikov. I know he's coming forward, but at the end of the day, like, it's eventually gonna set in that I'm fighting Manny Pacquiao. It's probably already, you know, it has to set in at some point. And when it does, I believe he gets a picture. He might, if Pacquiao let this man go, if he don't stop him in 4 rounds, I see Chris starting to come on and say, look, I'm in here. I can fight my game plan for 12 rounds. That's what Bradley couldn't do. Bradley couldn't stick to his plan for 12 rounds. Chris showed that even with one eye, I'm sticking to my game plan. Hoping, and I trust this corner. I trust Chris Corner because they had the right plan for Provodnikov. So I'm gonna trust them that they got the right plan this time. He just can't be trying to smother Manny Pacquiao because Manny ain't gonna accept. He gonna step to the side and let them bombs go. He gotta stay. He gotta keep them feet going, man. I hope he can do it because I like Chris. It's nothing against Manny. I just want to see a white champion and see how that shit goes about in America.
What he's got to do is he's got to it is the jab. Chris Algieri's got a jab. He's got to jab a lot, and he's got to move around and jab. Chris Algieri has a problem where kind of like Erislandy Lara did against Angulo, to whereas in he'll lay on the ropes a little too long, you know, and he'll try to test your power a little bit. He don't want to do that with Manny. Manny, when he gets desperate, he's going to look at, and Freddie Roach is going to Freddie Roach is going to tell Manny, listen, Manny, he's only got 8 knockouts. He can't hurt you. You know, go out there and slaughter this guy. I predict that if Algieri may not make it, he may not make it through the 4th round.
He got to show Manny some power early.
Algieri may have been in there just to get Manny Pacquiao a clean KO. I mean, after all, Provodnikov hit him with the left hook, you know, just one and swole his eye up. And then remember, he caught him again, and Algieri had to take a knee. So, you know,
he said he was never hurt. It was just that his eye fucked up on him. You know, like he was never really like hurt. He said the first one hurt him and knocked him down, but it caught him in the eye. And the second was like, oh shit, let me check on my eye, let me take a knee to save myself. And then after that, he got better the whole fight. I agree. If he don't show Manny no power in the first round, second round, his ass gonna get swarmed. But he still might be able to hold it off if he fights off his back foot. And I don't care if they call him runner for the next 15 years. He got to fight the fight that is suitable for him to win.
And that's jabbing. He's got to jab and he's got to throw.
To Manny Pacquiao credit, his head move. If you look at the Oscar fight, I know Oscar's not an Algieri, but Oscar, he had the same problem with Floyd Mayweather. He quit letting his jab go. That's why I started disliking Oscar. It's like he was in the ring just for a damn check. He quit letting his jab go against Manny and against Floyd. And Manny's head movement is, you know, that side-to-side head movement he get going. I don't care if he does that. Chris still got to pump that jab. Like he got to put it out there at least and let him know I can come. And he come with his right hand off that jab pretty damn nice. But he got to make Manny feel that right hand. And it shouldn't be.
He can do. He's gonna have to live off the jab, and then that right hand. He's gonna have to win off of the clean punching. That right, like he's gonna have to jab Manny, and then that right hand. He's got to make sure when he hits Manny, if it doesn't hurt Manny, that it's clean to the point of kind of like when Kell Brook was getting hit by when Shawn Porter was getting hit by Kell Brook. It's got to be like that to the point where people see the right hands, even though it may not be hurting. It just, you know, gets a crowd reaction. Now this is Macau, so the crowd is not going to have like the Macau crowd. They don't scream. The Chinese people, they don't scream. They're not rowdy or anything. So it's not going to be a pro Manny Pacquiao crowd. Well, it will be, but as far as, you know, like the arena, it's going to be genuine, like quiet. But still, what I'm saying is, Algieri's got to show. He's got to show the clean punches, and they got to be heard. Even if they don't hurt, they got to be heard to the point where he's smacking off of Manny Pacquiao's face. But I mean, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
Like you said, the jab. I like. He says he's gonna keep up a pace that Manny can't fight at. I've read everything Chris has said since this fight. I'm telling you, like I might be his biggest fan outside of New York or the Eastern Seaboard. Where the Northeastern Seaboard where he's popular at. I'm one of his hugest fans, but I mean, he got to pump that jab. He can't never really quit moving. And if Pacquiao wants to flurry, you got to break that range as quick as possible. Because I don't think his head movement. I don't think this dude head movement is good enough to make Manny Pacquiao miss. It's too slow. It's very slow. It's very slow.
Jerry used to be a kickboxer, so he's going to be relying on moving around the ring. You know, not trying to use like basically hand movement to dodge punches.
That peekaboo defense he got, I think Pacquiao laid off on the body attack against Bradley. I think Bradley showed him so much head movement that Manny was like, I'm gonna hit you in your head anyways. I don't care. I'm gonna find a way to hit you in your head.
That's what Algeria needs. Algeria needs a body shot. It's another punch he's gonna have to use. You know, it's not enough.
I don't. Who is that?
He's gonna have to use. But I'm wrapping up in 5 minutes. Anybody got anything to say before I wrap up? I'm doing this. Basically, the next fight I'm going to be back. I don't know if Austin Trout fight this Friday coming up. I don't know if I'm doing Google Hangout for that Friday night fights.
No need.
You know, but I'm doing Google Hangout for not Kell Brook, Adrian Broner versus Emmanuel Taylor, and then of course after that it's going to be Mayweather week. So.
All right, hold on. Fill me in. What's our next fight? I'm losing my mind right here. It's kind of late. What's our next fight? The date? Broner's the 6th, right? September 6th.
No. This Friday, Austin Trout.
Well, besides that, like HBO, Showtime, what we got?
September 6th, Adrian Broner.
September the 6th.
Basically Labor Day. Basically, the next 2 weeks, basically, it's only one fight that really people are gonna be watching, and that's the Austin Trout fight. You know, so it's like a little mini vacation, and then everything start back up in September.
We gotta start strong. Well, we'll get the first episode of All Access. That should hold us over until September 6th.
I mean, that All Access is gonna be just like the last episode of like the epilogue. They're gonna go over the fight. They're going to go over the press tour and everything. It's not going to be until the second episode we see stuff. And what we're going to see is, of course, probably the life again, you know.
No, we can't. Not after that press conference. He got to sell that De La Hoya bitch talk. That he a bitch. What is he, 50? A bitch. We got to have that kind of talk.
He got to sell it. When this All Access, I don't know. I know that they have to sell the fight, but will they go with that whole the life storyline? I don't know. You know, they may or may not. I mean, honestly, they should not go with that life storyline.
They should give us both of them. Why not?
Or they can focus more on Marcus McDonough. You know, people want to see that. Focus on what he's been doing. You know, like after the fight and everything like that.
I don't think they can do that. If it was another guy, Floyd too entertaining to ignore. Even if he is selling the life, like people are gonna watch that. Some people are only watching that for Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. You're right. But all right, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna end this because I'm tired as hell and I got a lot of work to do. I'll be back on. I'll be back definitely September the 6th. So the link to it is right below. You know, all you gotta do is click it.